Chapter 117. I'm not lying, I'm not. The security captain opened his eyes wide and promised the police. He turned his eyes and pointed at Gu Lingqing. I know why you framed me. It must be that you and Madame Bai had an affair, and someone saw it. So you decided to kill her. Are you a mad dog? You bite anyone you see, Bai said angrily. Gu Lingqing calmed down a lot. Please use your logic to think normally. If it's a murder, there's no need to prepare poison. With my skills, I can do it without anyone noticing. Why would you find out? Gu Lingqing said sarcastically. By the way, I understand. You must have fed him the poison first. He didn't die, so you stabbed him. Ms. Bai is timid and screamed. She screamed. It only took you 1 minute to catch up from the 17th floor. You said you heard the time was 30 minutes, and it was 41 minutes when you came in. Excuse me, what were you doing in the past 11 minutes? Gu Lingqing looked at the hotel manager coldly. Besides me, there are other people in room 1729. Is there anyone living near room 1829? I'll check. The hotel manager was trembling. Follow 3 police officers. If there's anyone nearby, bring them here for questioning. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. He looked at the security captain sharply. The security captain had nowhere to retreat. He ordered the director, "Give me an interrogation room. I think the murderer has been identified." I'm not the murderer. Even if you're a high-ranking official, you can't simply frame people. The security captain looked at the director. The director's face was pale. If you have anything, just confess. Don't frame the innocent. Ms. Bai is innocent. You'll kill many people. Gu Lingqing frowned. He knocked on the table with his well-defined hands. He looked at the director slowly and curled his lips. The director felt a chill down his spine. His hands were trembling. After a while, the police brought the guests from rooms 1727 and 1731 over. I don't remember the time, but I heard a woman scream and the sound of the door knocking. The interval was less than 2 minutes. The guest from room 1727 said, I remember that the door was knocked on at 21:41. I took a look at the time and I also heard the woman scream. It was probably the guest in room 2. The security captain slumped on the chair and lowered his head. There's no need to interrogate him. I killed him. He's the curator of the cultural center. I owe him 200,000 yuan. I lost it in gambling. I arranged to meet him in room 1929. When I saw that we were almost at the hotel, I encouraged the director to invite my colleagues from the monitoring room over for cake. I took the opportunity to go out and cut the surveillance camera. I poisoned him, but I was afraid that he wasn't completely dead, so I stabbed him again. Then, with his body tied up, he fell to room 1829. Then, I went to the security room to restore the monitor. I pretended that nothing had happened and returned to room 1729. As soon as I got in, I heard a scream from the second floor. I took my men and dashed to room 1829. I wanted to frame the guest there. I asked my colleagues to check the room and took the opportunity to put the poison in the wine cabinet. The plan is flawless. Take him away. Gu Lingqing nodded and glanced at the door. Chief Gu, you're amazing. It's so flawless. It took you less than an hour to complete such a meticulously planned case. The director complimented. Gu Lingqing pursed his lips, and his eyes were filled with hidden emotions. The case wasn't solved, but the security captain was the scapegoat, and the murderer was still at large. Ms. Bai, right? I still have some doubts that I want to ask you. Come with me. Gu Lingqing said harshly and walked out of the door. It was cold outside, and no one was allowed to enter. Bai lowered his head and followed behind Gu Lingqing, getting into his black Hummer. Xiaoya, you can't stay here. It's too dangerous, Gu Lingqing said urgently as soon as he got in the car. I'm not afraid of danger. Haven't you seen it yet? Today's trap was set up for you. The security captain and security director were all involved. Who's the person above them? Who's the one hiding behind them? We don't know. If I wasn't here today, you would have been locked up for murder. Gu Lingqing's eyes were red. Bai was a little scared when she thought of it now. Fortunately, Gu Lingqing took her away from the sky garden and put her down with a rope. If she was caught on the scene, there was poison as evidence. She couldn't explain herself. I'll be more careful in the future. I won't let them take advantage of me again. Baya promised. It's impossible to guard against. Gu Lingqing approached Baya. He put one hand on the side of her head, enveloped her in his breath, and looked at her with burning eyes. Baya, tell me, what do you want? I'll give it to you. You can leave here, be your doctor, or go abroad. Don't let me worry, Gu Lingqing said seriously. The pressure was very strong, and no one could refuse. Can you really give me what I want? Baya gritted her teeth and asked with resentment. Her eyes were as red as blood, staring at him. I can even give you my life, Gu Lingqing promised. His eyes were firm. The fog spread in her eyes. Her heart hurt, as if a thorn had drilled into it. She would hurt if she touched it. She didn't want his life. She only wanted him. That was her plan. She would be a prosecutor first. She had Xing Bachuan and Song Shiyu as her backstage. As long as she made contributions, she could be promoted step by step. She was risking her life. She wanted to enter the cabinet and have an important position. That way, she could easily stand by his side. Even if she was not qualified to be his wife, at least she could stand close to him. She knew that if that day came, she would have to spend a very, very long time and put in a lot of effort. However, it was still better than doing nothing. She could go abroad and escape all the suffering. She had left him a mess to clean up. If she was lucky, he would marry her after he succeeded. She would sit on his blood and enjoy his achievements and glory. Baya, who didn't do anything, wasn't worthy of his love and effort. If she was unlucky, he wouldn't succeed. They would miss each other forever. She didn't even have the luxury of seeing him. She didn't care what the future would be. At least she worked hard now. When she died in the future, at least she would have a clear conscience. She didn't let him down. There are things that I should do and things that I shouldn't do in life. I'll do what I think is right. Retreating is not something that Baya, will do. If I die in the hands of those people one day, use legal means to take revenge for me. Baya pushed the door open with tears streaming down her face. Gu Lingqing held her hand and pressed her against the chair. His hard chest pressed against hers. Baya saw the panic and pain in his eyes. He was always cold, sharp, and a man of steel, but in front of her, he showed his soft side. Chapter 118. Baya looked at him with reddened eyes. His handsome face was reflected in her eyes. She didn't like him. She loved him. She had never liked someone so much. She wanted to give her all for him and do her best to be with him. Whether I like him or not, it won't change our relationship, Baya said rationally. So, Xiaoya, you like him, right? Gu Lingqing held her hand tightly. Her answer was very important to him. It was a ray of light in his gloomy life. Baya's eyes flickered. She didn't answer. Gu Lingqing was excited. He kissed her on the lips. His kiss was very deep and fierce. It was as if he had integrated all his thoughts for the past 2 months into this kiss. Her heart was bitter and sour. He lifted her chin and kissed her again and again. She knew that she should reject him. She should be stubborn. She should follow the path that she had planned. But her heart softened. Some emotions and desires couldn't be controlled by reason. Baya held his arm tightly. She closed her eyes and didn't kiss him back. But she didn't push him away. She felt his breath on her face. It was unyielding, yet it was cold and clear. She really, really, really liked him. She liked his preference for her. She liked the wooden sign he wrote. Even his kiss, she liked it. Unconsciously, she touched the spot where his finger was cut off. Her heart was stabbed by something. It hurt very much. She couldn't fall. She pushed him away and met his clear eyes. I'm going in. Do you still want to stay? Gu Lingqing frowned and looked at her. Gu Lingqing, what does the Baya you like look like? Baya asked. Her tears fell. He lowered his head and kissed her tears. It was salty. He pressed the back of her head and pressed his forehead against hers. 3 years ago, he touched her. He found out about her information and understood her past. Heartache and pity stayed in his heart. In the past 3 years, he thought of her occasionally. She and her husband should be happy. She was so beautiful, so strong, so independent and smart. Until a few months ago, he received a request for backup from the armed forces. They didn't say it clearly. He thought that the hostage was Baya, so he came personally. When he came, he found out that it wasn't Baya, but her husband's past woman. He felt that she was his responsibility. If her husband didn't treat him well, he would want to replace her. The more he interacted with her, the more he liked her. What he didn't expect was that his love for her would force her into another desperate situation. He wanted to be strong, so strong that no one could restrain him. You don't have to do anything. I'm the one who wants to be what Baya likes. Gu Lingqing's voice was choked up. Bai looked at him with red eyes. Go and do what you want to do, don't worry about me. Maybe if you don me, I'll have some breathing room. You'll wait for me, right? Gu Lingqing wasn't sure. He was confident, flamboyant, domineering, and sharp, except for his feelings for her. He was afraid that she would give up easily. Time won't stop at this moment. Even if we get married, there will be a divorce. Only a lifetime is the longest confession. Don't make promises easily. I don't make promises easily. Baya opened the car door and got out. Gu Lingqing punched the door hard. Time won't stop at this moment. Even if we get married, there will be a divorce. Only a lifetime is the longest confession. Was she hinting at something? Baya went back and stayed in room 1829. Running away wasn't a solution. If those people wanted to deal with her, even if she stayed in another room, they would still do it. She needed this room to remind her that she wasn't safe. What she had to do was to protect herself. It was obvious that someone wanted to harm her. There were people here who didn't want her to be there. She couldn't rule out the possibility of collusion. Baya's phone rang. She opened it and saw that it was from Gu Lingqing. Tomorrow, I will send someone to protect you. They will come in the name of B City's Procuratorate to assist and cooperate with you. This message was like a boulder, fiercely striking her heart. Her heart was trembling violently. After Gu Lingqing sent the message, he walked to the bathroom. Since he told her to leave and she didn't want to leave, then he would do his best to let her do what she wanted to do. Gu Lingqing walked to the bathroom. He heard some sounds, turned around, and walked quickly to the sky garden. Baya had just crawled over. His eyes were flickering, and his voice was hoarse. He couldn't suppress his excitement. Xiaoya! Baya rushed towards Gu Lingqing, hugged his waist, buried her face in his chest, and cried. His text message had destroyed all the pretense and defenses she had put up for the past 2 months. Actually, she really missed her. Gu Lingqing's eyes were also misty. He hugged her tightly and put her on the bed. The lamp on the bedside table emitted a faint light that enveloped the two of them. There was a faint warmth, but also a faint sadness. Gu Lingqing's kisses fell on her body. She wrapped her arms around his waist and pulled him in front of her. When he went in, she felt a little pain and frowned slightly. His breathing was heavy. He lifted her chin and looked at her with a burning gaze. He kissed her lips again and again. Comforting her was very useful. She became more and more emotional. She was like a beautiful rose in the morning, blooming under his nurturing. Afterwards, she didn't leave. She lay on his arm and enjoyed the warmth at this moment. Why are you here? Is it official business or private business? Where are Lieutenant Colonel Shang and the others? You didn't bring them. Gu Lingqing placed his palm on her lower abdomen and explained patiently. I have official business in the neighboring city. I'm here for private business. I think the massacre of Tangshan village is related to Lu Liang City. He was the mayor back then. Moreover, ever since the massacre of the village, he was promoted quite quickly. It should be because of the benefits. Chief Chun of the armed forces here used to be my comrade. I entrusted him to help me investigate. So, I had a meal with him at the Full Moon restaurant. I didn't expect to meet you here. Baya turned her head to look at him, her eyes sparkling. Are you going to forget me? Gu Lingqing raised the corner of his mouth and looked at her with a burning gaze. Many times, I wanted to look for you. Didn't you say that you wouldn't forgive me? I went to look for you, but I was afraid that you would be in danger. My greatest protection for you was to let you go. So, we should never see each other again, right? Baya choked with sobs. She turned her back, tears flowing down her cheeks. Chapter 119. Baya replied. After resting for a while, she went back to her room. The more people there were, the more mouths there were. They were being watched again, so it was better to be careful. She had just laid on the bed when a message rang. Baya saw that it was from Gu Lingqing. What are you doing? Baya smiled, revealing a sincere smile for the past 2 months. I'm going to sleep. What about you? That's true, together. Baya fell asleep with her phone in her hand. When she woke up and opened her eyes, the sky was already very bright. She looked at the time. 10 o'clock. She was late. She got up, brushed her teeth, washed up, put on makeup, changed into a suit, and went out. She passed by room 1827. The door was tightly shut. Gu Lingqing should have left. She went down to the hall and Yang Yan was already there. Baya nodded politely. I woke up late. Sorry for making you wait. It's okay. I heard that there was a murder case in your room last night. I didn't expect the security captain of this hotel to be such a person. He almost harmed prosecutor Bai, Yang Yan said. Let's go, Baya said calmly and walked in front. They got into the car. Yang Yan turned on the radio, which was broadcasting the real-time traffic. Baya looked out of the window. How long is prosecutor Bai planning to stay? Yang Yan asked. I don't know, it shouldn't be long. After all, my family is in a city. Baya wanted to let their guard down. Yang Yan's lips twitched. There's something that's been spreading in the procuratorate. If prosecutor Bai hears about it, don't be at ease. Baya looked at Yang Yan. What is it? Yang Yan wanted to say something but stopped. They said that prosecutor Bai entered the discipline inspection through the back door. The people above are not small. I got first place in the written test with my image. I shouldn't be unable to pass the interview. As for the people above, they are indeed not small. Baya said meaningfully. Yang Yan's expression turned ugly. Now, everything depends on relationships. If you don't have any connections, you can only work at the bottom for the rest of your life. Baya said nothing. Previously, she thought that Su Jiran relied on his ability to become the deputy director of the health bureau. But now she knew the relationship between Su Jiran and the president. If it weren't for Gu Lingqing who exposed him, Su Jiran would have become the director of the sanitary bureau in no time. After that, he became the deputy mayor, deputy governor, governor. Step by step, he walked to the side of the president and became the president's right-hand man. The car drove for half an hour before arriving at the prosecutor's office. The Jinyang City Procuratorate was 27 stories high. Its exterior looked bright, beautiful, and magnificent. Is your procuratorate newly built? Baya asked and followed Yang Yan in. Yeah, I was in the old city district before. I only moved to the development zone the year before last. Yang Yan looked at the time on his wrist. Now let's get to know our colleagues in the procuratorate. After that, it's time to eat. I heard that there will be a prosecutor coming from B City today. When did our Jinyang City become so popular? Don't be too nervous. It's just a routine matter. Baya followed Yang Yan into the office and met his colleagues from the inspection team. What cases are you guys following now? Baya asked. His colleagues looked at each other, not daring to answer casually. Prosecutor Bai is really serious and responsible. It's almost time for dinner. Little Yang went to pick up the prosecutor from B City. Let's eat together first, we'll talk during dinner. Yang Yan said perfunctorily. All right, I have to do my work and eat. However, I have to do something today, otherwise I won't be able to explain it to the higher-ups. I think my performance yesterday wasn't good, so the higher-up sent someone from B City over. Baya joked. Yang Yan's expression turned even worse. So you guys really have a target this time? Indeed. Let's eat first. We'll talk about work in the afternoon. Baya threw Yang Yan's perfunctory words over. Asterisk at the dinner party. She met the prosecutor from B City, Zhou Min. Her skin was dark, her hair was short, and she was thin and small. However, her eyes were sharp. She didn't speak much, and when she did, she only said a few words. She was very straightforward. Baya was probably a special forces soldier planted by Gu Lingqing. During the meal, there were a few awkward moments. At the end of the meal, Zhou Min said to the bureau chief in a serious tone, "I have a mission here. I hope you will cooperate with me completely." Yes, of course. However, what is your mission this time?" the bureau chief asked with a smile. "The higher-ups want to capture someone. It's not convenient for me to reveal the details. Just submit the information according to my requirements." Zhou Min said coldly, "All right, since the higher-ups want to take him, we will definitely cooperate fully." The bureau chief promised. Zhou Min looked at Baya. "You are the prosecutor from a city, right? I heard that you are currently living in a 6-star hotel suite. I will move to your place later and work together in the future." The faces of the bureau chief and the others all turned white. It seemed that their every move and action was being watched by the higher-ups. He didn't even dare to make any small moves. Yang Yan and Yang Li sent Zhou Min and Baya to the hotel. Yang Li was still very lively along the way. Baya would even smile and occasionally say some gentle words. Zhou Min pursed her lips and stared at Yang Li. Her eyes were as sharp as an eagle's. "Do you guys belong to the same higher-ups?" Yang Li asked with a smile. "Be serious. What's so funny? Prosecutor Bai and I are both from the Procuratorate, and we have our own missions. The people above us are different, and we don't know anything. Stop trying to pry, or you might be the first to be dealt with," Zhou Min said sternly. No matter how good Yang Li's mental fortitude was, she was still defeated. She didn't say anything else and didn't even get off the car after sending them to the hotel. Yang Yan laughed dryly. "Little Yang is still young, so it's hard to avoid talking too much. Please forgive me. It doesn't matter if you talk too much, but I'm afraid you don't have a brain." Zhou Min coldly entered the room. "It's fine, Prosecutor Zhou is more strict." Baya patted Yang Yan's shoulder and comforted him. "Okay, you guys rest first. I'll come pick you guys up at 2:30 in the afternoon." Yang Yan nodded and left. Baya entered room 1829 and closed the door. Zhou Min took out an iPad from the box. "Open it." The IPA ID beeped. There were a total of 6 red dots flashing on the screen. Baya frowned. Zhou Min pressed a button, and the 6 red dots turned into green dots. She put down the IPA ID, saluted respectfully to Baya, and reported expressionlessly, "I'm number 1666 from the Special Military Region. The leader ordered me to protect your safety and wait for your instructions. This room has already been installed with surveillance cameras and wiretaps. Do you want to clean it up immediately?" "Oh, clean it up." Baya didn't get used to it for a moment and said. Baya's phone rang. She saw that it was Gu Lingqing's and immediately answered. "Did you see her? Number 1666. Chapter 120. "I saw it. It's very harsh," Baya said with a smile and looked at Zhou Min. Zhou Min flipped through it quickly. When she removed the other party's surveillance, she put in new surveillance and anti-surveillance equipment. "Don't worry. Number 1666 has the strongest comprehensive ability. If you have anything, you can ask her to do it," Gu Lingqing said gently. "Yes, I know," Baya replied and walked to the Sky Garden. "When you investigate, don't look for the people from the Procuratorate. I suspect that someone from the Procuratorate is colluding with them," Gu Lingqing said suspiciously. "I also suspect that, for example, Yang Li and Yang Yan have been asking around along the way. It's normal to ask around. After all, you and Zhou Min went too suddenly. They will be worried about themselves. I think that the problem is with the director. I've given you a team. You just need to instruct number 1666 and she will contact them to do things." Baya's heart softened when she heard that. He wrote on the wooden sign that he would protect her. It seemed like he had always been protecting her. "Where are you now?" Baya asked gently. "In the city next to yours. I've already talked to Director Chun of the Armed Forces. He will be your strong support. Whatever you want to do, don't worry. Be bold and do it. I'm here." You be careful too. Your mother said that you're starting to take on dangerous missions again. I'm worried about you. Hey, it's not a dangerous mission. It's just something I should do. Do you remember the soldier who lost his leg? Gu Lingqing asked. Yes, the one whose wife wants a divorce. He was injured in a drill. There were many people injured at that time, but his injury was the most serious. I investigated for a long time and found the person who sold this batch of firearms. I'm negotiating now. Baya listened. She felt that what he was doing was much more dangerous than what she was doing. Don't let anything happen to you. If something happens to you, I won't live alone. Gu Lingqing smiled. Yes, with you here, I don't want anything to happen to me. Baya's face was slightly red. They were all working hard. This feeling was quite good. Then I'll go do something first. Good luck. Good luck. I'll come to see you in 2 days. Gu Lingqing's tone became much softer. It's not good if your parents and Su Shaoling find out. I can afford to wait for 2 years. Baya is worried about him and herself. The broken part of her little finger hurts faintly. If he were to be discovered by them again, the consequences would not be as simple as a severed finger. Gu Lingqing's eyes were deep and gloomy as he hung up the phone. Sir. Lieutenant Colonel Shang shouted. Gu Lingqing closed his eyes. Continue. The special effects makeup artist continued to stick on his mustache. In the afternoon, Baya and Zhou Min went to the procuratorate. She flipped through the cases handled by the procuratorate in recent years. Most of them were small economic cases. They had their eyes on a few state-owned enterprises, and every year, they would arrest a few people to meet the target. These cases were of no practical help to her. Where's the report letter? Show me this year's report. Baya looked at Zhang Shuang. Zhang Shuang's assistant brought over a pile of letters. Baya and Zhou Min flipped through the letters. Most of them were trivial matters. Some reported their neighbors for stealing electric cables, some reported their girlfriends for cheating on them, and some reported their leaders for asking them to work overtime. Baya scanned through the letters for 2 hours. She looked at Zhang Shuang. Is that all? That's all. Jinyang City is actually quite peaceful. There's no corruption, or major incidents. Zhang Shuang said with a smile. Don't give me that cheeky look, Zhou Min said sternly. Zhang Shuang looked at Zhou Min, and her face darkened. Baya smiled. It's a good thing that there are no major incidents. You have to meet the target, and so do we. I'm just afraid that the boss won't dare to speak up. How about this? Starting from tomorrow, we will place anonymous report boxes in every market in Jinyang City. Is that okay? That's not good. It will make people anxious. Zhang Shuang rejected. Cut the crap. Just do it. We're doing it for the benefit of the people. What do you mean by anxious? You're just refusing to cooperate. Are you the problem? Zhou Min stared at her and scolded. Zhang Shuang was really angry, but she dared not speak up. All right, we'll do as you say. Baya was worried that the prosecutor's office would stop the residents from reporting. She personally went to every district and made them fill in the notice. She also arranged for people to protect every report box. The task of collecting letters had to be done personally. In a day, there were more than 1,000 letters. Baya and Zhou Min handled the letters and sorted out the problematic ones. Prosecutor Bai, look at this. This report says that the mayor of Jinyang City is colluding with the developers to demolish their villages and dig up their treasures. Zhou Min said. Baya took the letter from Zhou Min's hands. Finally found it. There's indeed a problem with Luliang City. He's the mayor here to dig up cultural relics and sell them or collect them for money. Previously, the cultural center's director was murdered. It might be related to this. Baya analyzed. Are we going to search Luliang City's house now? Zhou Min asked. Why would he leave the items in his house? Searching a mayor's house with this anonymous report will not only not find anything, but it will also alert the enemy. Let's continue to look around. Once we get the evidence, we can proceed with the next step. Knock, knock, knock. Someone knocked on the door. Zhou Min opened the door. Yang Li came in with 2 cups of milk tea. She smiled and asked Baya, Do you need my help? No need. Go and do your work. Zhou Min said sternly and was about to close the door. Milk tea, milk tea. I bought it especially for you. Yang Li placed the milk tea on the table and glanced at the table before leaving. Zhou Min closed the door and threw the milk tea into the trash can. You have a guilty conscience. Zhou Min, what do you think about starting from the antique dealer? Baya thought and asked. Sure. We can't go out. We are being watched. Let your comrades help. Baya ordered. Yes. Asterisk after being busy for 5 days. There were many reports. Baya drew a relationship map based on the content of the letters. Luliang City had an archaeology team. They studied the history and culture of Jinyang City and looked for possible ruins. Xinjiang Construction Company was a construction company closely related to Luliang City. Luliang City sold the land that might be ruins to this construction company at a normal price. This construction company was developing on the surface, but they were secretly excavating cultural treasures. Could it be that the location of Tangqian Village's treasure map was in Jinyang City? Baya went back to the hotel with doubts. Zhou Min said she wanted to buy some clothes. When she returned to the room, she was grabbed by a strong arm. Chapter 121. Baya was pleasantly surprised. Why are you here? I'm passing by. I have something to do in the neighboring city tonight, Gu Lingqing explained. She was wondering why Zhou Ji suddenly wanted to buy clothes without her. It turned out that Gu Lingqing was coming. I've made a lot of progress. I've already put the people who smuggled the antiques under surveillance. As long as we catch them one by one, we'll be able to catch the people from Xinjiang Construction Company. Then someone will be able to rule Luliang City. If we catch Luliang City, we might be able to solve the case of the village massacre, Baya said happily. Zhou Min reported to me. I think that even if someone accused Luliang City, he might not admit to the massacre of the village. One is to go to jail, the other is to be sentenced to death. He is not stupid unless he finds that gold bar. Gu Lingqing analyzed. I hope we can find the evidence as soon as possible and then we can arrest him. Have you eaten? Baya asked with concern. Gu Lingqing tapped her nose. I want to see you. I'll be leaving in a while. Baya's eyes dimmed. Even if he hadn't eaten, he couldn't eat with her. You don't have to come if you're in a hurry. I understand that you have something to do. Gu Lingqing raised the corner of his mouth. It would take him 4 hours to get there. At most, he would only have an hour to reunite with her. But he still came. You've lost weight. Why don't you eat more? There are many things that can't be rushed. Take it slow. Since there's a problem in Jinyang City, the calmer you are, the more anxious those who have done wrong will be, Gu Lingqing analyzed. I'm indeed anxious. So, I'm here to tell you a piece of good news. It's unexpected, but reasonable, Gu Lingqing said with a smile. What good news? Do you still remember when I thought there was something wrong with the head of security? Gu Lingqing reminded her. There's definitely something wrong with that head of security. He's in cahoots with the head of security, Baya said with certainty. Gu Lingqing passed her a photo. In the photo, the head of security took a man wearing sunglasses and a box of money. Who is this man? Why would he pay the security director? Baya was surprised. The manager of Xinjiang Construction Company, Gu Lingqing said. Baya came to a sudden realization. So, Lu Liangcheng felt guilty and got the manager of Xinjiang Construction Company to deal with me. This manager got the security director to frame me. Why didn't they just kill me? They didn't dare to kill you directly because they suspected that there was someone behind you. In addition, the fact that your father is Xing Bachuan has also made them wary. They're framing you on purpose. Firstly, they don't want you to investigate. Secondly, they want to know who's behind you and who's going to help you, Gu Lingqing analyzed. This person is quite thoughtful, but these photos alone can't directly prove that this matter is related to the murder of the cultural center's director and framing me. Baya frowned. Do you still remember what the security director said to the security captain? His words were full of warning. I'll get someone to protect the security captain's wife and children. Sure enough, in the middle of the night, Someone went to arrest the security captain's wife and son. The kidnappers were taken into custody. Today, when they saw these photos, they confessed that it was the security director who ordered them to do it. I asked the security captain's wife to visit the security captain today. The security captain admitted that it was the security director who ordered him to do it. After it's done, he'll be paid 200,000 in cash as a reward, Gu Lingqing explained. Then we can arrest the security director now. As long as he confesses to the manager, we might be able to solve this big case soon. Baya was happy. She didn't expect that he had done so much for her in the past 5 days. Not yet. You have to be patient. We have to find the evidence between Xinjiang Construction Company and Lu Liangqing first. Otherwise, we can only stop at the manager's side. We won't be able to implicate Lu Liangqing. Baya nodded. Since Lu Liangqing is doing these illegal things, his money should be unclear. The main thing is to find out where he hid his money or antiques. Then we can punish him. My men have been following Lu Liangqing for a few days. He's a watertight person. He never participates in business gatherings, and he doesn't have any bad habits. It'll be hard to break through. No. Baya suddenly had an idea. She interrupted Gu Lingqing. He has a hobby. It's either treasures or antiques. Do you remember the treasure map from last time? I think we can use the treasure map to lure the snake out of its hole. Lu Liangqing will definitely be very interested. Smart. I'll arrange for someone to come over and give you an answer within a week. Baya pursed her lips and stared at him. She was silent for a while. Gu Lingqing hugged her waist and pulled her into his arms. What's wrong? I wanted to be a prosecutor. That way I can stand in a place of authority. In the end, I've been doing nothing for the past 5 days. I even alerted the snake. If it wasn't for you, I might need a few years to break into Lu Liangqing. Dreams are beautiful, but reality is really cruel. Baya said dejectedly. Gu Lingqing smiled. What I've done is equivalent to what you've done. Tang Xiaojiu's death is more or less related to us. Since I promised him, I'll work hard with you. Our goals are the same. Actually, my goal isn't that simple. I want to get promoted as soon as possible through meritorious service. Baya revealed her desperation. It's the best of both worlds. Why not? Whatever you want, I'll help you achieve it. What you want is what I want too. I think this is good. You're in the light, and I'm in the dark. When I get the evidence, I'll still need you to do a public trial. Being able to work with you like this makes me feel very carefree. Baya thought about it. It seemed to be the case. Then her decision was not wrong. She smiled too. Gu Lingqing leaned over and kissed her on the lips. Baya dodged and cleared her throat. There's a surveillance camera in the room. I'll turn it off. Gu Lingqing smiled. What are you thinking about? Baya thought that he wanted to have sex with her. She blushed. Nothing. Don't think about it. Let's do it. He carried her and walked to the bathroom. Happy days were short and beautiful. Gu Lingqing didn't have much time. It was already late when he got back. His speed was above 160 kilometers per hour. There was a knock on the door. Baya thought it was Zhou Min, so she opened the door. Su Jiaran stood at the door with a devilish smile on his face, but his eyes were extremely cold. Baya quickly closed the door. Su Jiaran pushed the door open. She was not as strong as him, so she was in a stalemate with him. Su Jiaran looked at Baya strangely. His eyes were very deep and he said expressionlessly, Baya, do you know who the man who raped you 3 years ago was? Baya paused and looked at Su Jiaran. Who was it? Her heart was filled with hope. Chapter 122. Su Jiaran came in from the door and sat on the sofa lazily. He looked at her deeply. What will you do when you know who raped you? Who is it? Baya couldn't stay calm anymore. Her eyes were bloodshot. She wanted to know where her child had gone. Su Jiaran twitched the corner of his mouth. Sleep with me and I'll tell you who it is. Baya picked up the fruit plate on the coffee table and smashed it on Su Jiaran's body. She roared, Get lost. Su Jiaran held her hand forcefully and pulled her to his side. If Gu Lingqing can sleep with you, why can't I? Has Gu Lingqing slept with many women before? At least not after knowing me. Baya couldn't tolerate Su Jiaran saying bad things about Gu Lingqing. Why not? Isn't Su Shaoling the one? They're engaged. Baya, don't be silly. It's impossible for you to be with him. Baya wanted to pull her hand out. Su Jiaran held it tightly and didn't want to let go. She bit down on his hand. Su Jiaran clenched his teeth. His face was frighteningly pale. His voice came out from between his teeth. The one who raped you was Gu Lingqing. Baya looked at Su Jiaran in surprise. There was a momentary emptiness in her beautiful eyes. She was stunned and frighteningly calm. It was as if her soul had been taken away. Su Jiaran looked at the bite mark between his thumb and index finger and looked at her coldly. You're lying, aren't you? Baya didn't believe him at all. Whether I'm lying or not, you just have to ask Gu Lingqing. Su Jiaran was very confident and calm. Impossible. Otherwise, why do you think he treats you so specially? Don't you think he's treating you with the intention of making it up to you? Su Jiaran said cruelly and let go of Baya's hand. Baya's shoulders drooped, and his eyes darted back and forth. In a daze, he furrowed his brows. Su Jiaran held Baya's shoulder. Baya cautiously pushed him away and retreated 2 meters away. His face was extremely pale. Baya, you are a very rational person. Why do you think you can attract Gu Lingqing's attention? There are many women around him who are more beautiful than you. Is it because of your personality? Su Jiaran said with a cold expression. Baya looked straight at him. Gu Lingqing likes passionate, lively, and cheerful girls. He wrote in his diary that he fell in love with Zhou Hailan. Do you think you are warm, lively, and cheerful? You are the opposite. Every word and sentence of Su Jiaran hit Baya's heart heavily. She felt that she couldn't bear it anymore. Her legs were weak and she sat on the sofa. Su Jiaran stood in front of her, and his shadow shrouded her. You should understand now. He treats you well because he hurt you. He thinks that all the harm I've done to you is caused by him. He is a very responsible person. You should also see his sense of responsibility. Baya looked down. Su Jiaran squatted in front of Baya and held Baya's cold hand. She was like a statue, not moving at all and sinking into deep thought. Baya, I've betrayed you and you've betrayed me. We're even, okay? I still want to be with you. Give me a chance. I'll cherish you. I promise, Su Jiaran said in a gentle tone. Baya looked at Su Jiaran, and tears flowed from the corner of her eyes. If you and your girlfriend hadn't kidnapped me and left me in the wilderness, do you think I would have met that man? I just wanted to scare you. I didn't expect you to run away, Su Jiaran explained. I ran away, or was it my fault? Baya asked in return, and her eyes became colder. You're so resourceful that you've already found the man who raped me. What about my child? Where is my child? Have you found it? Didn't you beat that child? You gave birth to it? Su Jiaran stood up anxiously and stared at Baya. Baya turned her face away. At first, she also thought that the child was snatched away by Su Jiaran. Later, she found out that Su Jiaran had always thought that she had aborted the child. There was a very coincidental thing. Although Bai Bing had been sent to the mental hospital, Baya had still tried her best to get Bai Bing out. When Su Jiaran found out that she was pregnant, he forced her to abort the child. Baya used this as a condition to ask Su Jiaran for help. She went to the hospital, hesitated, and happened to meet a student who didn't want others to know that she had an abortion. The student wrote the name Baya. The doctor gave the student's embryo to Su Jiaran. Su Jiaran helped her bail Bai Bing out. She took Bai Bing outside to relax. Su Jiaran ignored her. She gave birth to the child outside, but the child was snatched away within a week. Bai Bing also suffered a blow, and there was an incident of injury. From then on, she was locked up in the sanatorium, and it was impossible for her to be released again. Speak. Su Jiaran was furious. The child is mine. I want to give birth to it. I can take good care of it. Baya was also agitated. No wonder you were depressed during that period. I thought you were depressed because I asked you to abort the child. That was the child of a rapist. I didn't expect you to be depressed because the child was snatched away. Su Jiran walked out of the room angrily and slammed the door. Baya was annoyed. She shouldn't have told Su Jiran about the child. What if he hurt the child? She was very annoyed. Zhou Ming came back and saw Baya sitting on the sofa in a daze. What's wrong? Which city is Gu Lingqing in? Baya asked with red eyes. How would we know about the chief's matter? Zhou Ming was very cautious. I know. Baya called Gu Lingqing. Is it too late for you to come back now? It's a bit difficult. I have an appointment with someone tonight. I'll try to come tomorrow. Gu Lingqing looked at the time and said, No need. You go do your own thing first. Which city are you in now? Baya asked. I'm in Jiangye City, which is next to Jinyang City. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing felt that Baya's tone was not right. Nothing. See you tomorrow. Baya hung up the phone. Now Gu Lingqing was still on the highway. He had an important task that night, and she didn't want to affect his mood. Baya picked up her bag and said to Zhou Ming, I'll ask for leave tomorrow. Help me talk to the prosecutor's office. Where are you going? I'll go with you. Zhou Ming said worriedly. I'm going to look for your chief. Everything will be fine. I'll come back after seeing him tomorrow. Baya knew that even if she didn't say it, Zhou Ming would still report it. There was no need to keep her in suspense. She went out and went to the bus station to buy a ticket to Jiangye City. While waiting for the bus, she bought a box of instant noodles at the bus station and ate it as dinner. She took the last bus to Jiangye City. It was 10:30 at night when she arrived. Chapter 123. That night, she tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Her memory returned to that night 3 years ago. She ran out of the room and was pulled over by a man. He was very strong and had great strength. He turned her around, held her lips, and penetrated her in a barbaric manner. There was no previous step at all, just like a ferocious beast. Gu Lingqing was very gentle to her. Every time, he would let her feel comfortable first before doing it with him. His patience was still very good, completely different from the man from 3 years ago. When he was having sex with her, she saw Su Jiran and that woman's car parked not far away, and they had sex in the car. She fainted from the pain, and when she woke up, she was still lying in the wilderness, and that man had escaped. Gu Lingqing was a very responsible person. She did not believe that it was Gu Lingqing who did it. Could it be Su Jiran's conspiracy? At 8 o'clock in the morning, Baya had breakfast and was resting in bed. She sent a message to Gu Lingqing. I'm already in Jiangye City, at the Jiangye Hotel near the long-distance bus station. Contact me when you're free. Gu Lingqing's call came at 11 o'clock. Baya immediately sat up and picked up the call. I'll be there in half an hour. What's the room number? Gu Lingqing sounded a little tired. Baya's heart ached. She really did not want to cause trouble for Gu Lingqing, but this matter was very important to her. She wanted to ask him face to face. 302, Baya replied. Okay. Half an hour later, there was a knock on the door. Baya opened the door, and Gu Lingqing stood at the door with a slight smile, looking very tired. Are you done with work? Baya asked. Yeah. Something happened yesterday, but it's nothing. What's wrong? With your personality, something must have happened when you came last night. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya worriedly. Haven't you slept since last night? Baya asked suspiciously. It doesn't matter. I didn't sleep for half a month when I was on a mission. Have you eaten yet? Why don't we eat together and talk about it over dinner? Gu Lingqing held her hand. Do you have anything to do in the afternoon? Baya asked. I'll go there at 4 o'clock. I have 5 hours to accompany you. Gu Lingqing answered patiently. If I don't come over, are you going to drive to my place and come back in an hour? Baya frowned. I'll probably find someone to drive the car. I'll sleep in the car. I'll be sleeping anyway. I'll be able to be by your side while I'm sleeping. How nice. Baya's heart fluctuated. She really couldn't believe that the man from 3 years ago was Gu Lingqing. Sleep for a while. I'll order takeout from Mate Wan. I'll call you for dinner when it's here. Sleep for a while and rest well before you start working. She picked up her phone and opened Matewan. Gu Lingqing looked down at her with a gentle gaze. Xiaoya, I'm very happy that you'll come here to look for me. Baya paused and looked at Gu Lingqing. This won't make me feel that I'm the only one who cares about the relationship between us, Gu Lingqing said with a smile. Her heart trembled violently. She held her phone tighter and hesitated whether she should ask. The nicer he was to her, the more she couldn't bring herself to ask. Sleep with me for a while. Gu Lingqing hugged Baya and lay on the bed. He closed his eyes. Baya leaned against his chest and rested her head on his shoulder. She could feel the warmth of his body passing through her skin and into her blood. Gu Lingqing, no matter what you did to me in the past, no matter how bad it was, I'll forgive you. But, from now on, I don't want you to lie to me again. Of course, except for your military affairs. Is that okay? Baya said. She waited for a while, but Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. She turned to look at him. He seemed to have fallen asleep. She looked at his handsome face. She couldn't reconcile it with the person who had raped her in the past. Forget it. If it was him, she believed that he had his reasons back then. He might have been carrying out a mission. If he had been the one holding her child, he would have carried the child out when his parents objected. He didn't. That proved that the child was not with him. His mission was very dangerous. She really didn't want to bother him with her matters. Baya put her hand on his waist and fell asleep. She didn't know how long had passed. When Gu Lingqing moved, she opened her eyes. He looked at the time on his watch. It was already 16 o'clock. Xiaoya, I have to go back now. I'll get someone to send you back to Jinyang City. Okay, complete your mission well. Don't worry about me. I have Zhou Min protecting me and so many people with you. I'll be fine, Baya said gently and sat up. He kissed her forehead. I'll rest after I'm done here. Okay. Baya got into the car. The driver was someone she had never seen before. He was wearing the uniform of an armed police officer. The car drove on the road. Baya looked at the unfamiliar city. The city seemed to be warmer because of him. Suddenly, the driver braked. Baya knocked into the chair in front of her. She looked outside and asked, "What happened?" "I think we hit someone." "I'll go and take a look," the police officer said. He opened the door and got out of the car. Baya heard a bang. Before she could react, a few people wearing masks and holding guns got into the car. "Who are you?" Baya was surprised. Many thoughts flashed through her mind. Could it be that Gu Lingqing's parents knew that they were together? Or were they Su Xiaoling's people? "What do you want?" "I can give you money." "Let me out of the car," Baya asked anxiously. "Shut up," the man wearing a pig mask said. He picked up a handkerchief and pressed it under Baya's nose. Baya wanted to hold her breath, but it was too late. She fainted. When she woke up, there was a lot of noise and the lights were very bright. She opened her eyes. The lights were very bright. She closed them again. Her hands and feet were tied to the table. "Do you dare to have sex with Gu Lingqing's woman?" a fat man shouted. He pointed a gun at a bearded man. "If you do it, I'll believe that you're the chief. Otherwise, don't try to lie to me." "Gu Lingqing's woman. Let's have a good taste of her. Send her to her room." An unusually hoarse voice sounded. "Do it. Do it here. Are you from the F*King military?" The bald man shouted. Baya saw the bearded man walk in front of her. His eyes were very small, and he was wearing a pair of glasses. His face was full of beard. He picked up a knife. Baya's mind was blank. She only felt that the knife was very sharp. "Don't come over. Don't touch me," Baya said in fear. Her current memory overlapped with that of 3 years ago. The bearded man took out a knife and cut the ropes on Baya's hands and feet. Baya slapped the bearded man's face. Chapter 124. Baya fell on the wooden board with a thud. She watched as the bearded man took off his suit and shirt, revealing the vest underneath. There was a scar on his arm. According to her medical judgment, judging from the degree of healing, It should be yesterday's injury. He walked towards her like a hunter. Baya was scared and her body was trembling. Don't come near me. Don't come near me. The bearded man approached Baya step by step. She didn't want to die. She still wanted to be with Gu Lingqing. But if she was tainted, she would rather die. She didn't know how to face Gu Lingqing. Baya turned around and bumped into the wall. Before she could touch the wall, she was grabbed by the bearded man and pressed on the bed. Baya wanted to die and wriggled like crazy. The man pressed her legs. She couldn't move. Ah! Baya screamed. The bearded man unbuttoned her trousers and pulled them down. Baya pulled her hand out and pressed on the injured area. Blood flowed down from his arm. The man pressed her hands on both sides of her body and looked down at her. Baya stared at the bearded man. She wasn't even afraid of death. Why should she be afraid of him? She bumped her head against his. The bearded man dodged. Baya took the opportunity to take the dagger that he had thrown beside the bed. She didn't even think and slashed at her neck. The bearded man grabbed the sharp edge of the dagger and pulled it away. He pressed Baya's hands with one hand, tore off her pants and tied her wrists. Ah! Baya's eyes were bloodshot. She couldn't move and was at her wit's end. Humiliation, despair, living a life worse than death. She bit her tongue. Biting one's tongue to commit suicide was because there were many blood vessels on the tongue. Biting off one's tongue would cause unbearable pain and excessive blood loss. She didn't want to do nothing. Now, if she died, at least she would be unyielding and keep her position in Gu Lingqing's heart. Otherwise, she would not be able to face him. When the bearded man saw Baya's actions, panic flashed in his eyes as he pressed down on Baya's chin. His strength was too great, and she was forced to open her mouth. Her tongue had already been bitten, and blood was flowing out. The bearded man frowned and kissed her lips. Ah! Baya struggled desperately and hit the back of his head. He pressed down on Baya's forehead and kissed her ear. Xiaoya, I'm Gu Lingqing. There's a surveillance camera in the room. I'll explain it to you after we go out. Now pretend to be unconscious. Gu Lingqing's voice is lowered and rings in her ear. Baya's soul suffered 100 points of impact, and he closed his eyes. The storm in his mind assaulted him. She used to think that it was impossible for Gu Lingqing to be the one who raped her 3 years ago. Now that she thought about it, maybe it was really him 3 years ago. He was on a mission like this. But, according to his sense of responsibility, why didn't he come to find her? She wanted to say it out loud. If it was really Gu Lingqing, he should know about the existence of their child. Maybe Gu Lingqing could find the child that was taken away from her. He wanted to cover the location of the camera so that she wouldn't be exposed. But he was afraid that he would take pity on her and expose himself. He sat on the bed and rested. The bald man clapped his hands and walked in. Chief is really brave. How does Gu Lingqing's woman feel? This woman is hot enough. I like it. Leave her with me tonight. I want to do it a few more times, Gu Lingqing said in a hoarse voice. Okay. Before she dies, she's still useful. The bald man glanced at Baya coldly. If she dies, what's the point? I have to let Gu Lingqing see his woman being bullied by me. It's only interesting to see him suffer, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Yes. Chief is always the best. I'm sorry, Chief, for doubting you before. The person who tried to assassinate you yesterday was also arranged by me. I have to see if you can be cruel to her. He passed yesterday's test, but my boss is still worried. Coincidentally, my men who were hiding at the bus stop saw Gu Lingqing go to see this woman. You appeared so suddenly. It's better to be careful. You've even touched Gu Lingqing's woman. I sent the video to my boss and he was relieved. I'll bring you to see my boss tomorrow. You can have a taste of this woman tonight, the bald man explained. Ask my men to come in and help me bandage my wound. We're going to do something big tomorrow. I want to relax tonight. Don't come in and disturb me, Gu Lingqing ordered. Yes, I understand. Have fun. I'll be upstairs. Just call me if you need anything, the bald man said and left with a smile. Gu Lingqing's men came in and bandaged Gu Lingqing's wound. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya on the bed. This woman is too hot-tempered. Is there any way to make her more docile? Of course there is, but I need to go out and get some medicine, Gu Lingqing's men said. Be careful. Don't let anyone target you. I'll find you a few women after we're done tomorrow. Thank you, boss. Also, buy some tools to tie her up. This pair of pants is really unsightly, Gu Lingqing ordered. Yes. Gu Lingqing's men left. The bald man in the control room stared at the screen without blinking. Boss, he should be fine, right? The bald man stared at the screen and asked. From the looks of it, he should be fine. Observe him tonight. If he's fine, let him see our boss, the bald man said. Gu Lingqing's room. You vaguely guessed everything. Gu Lingqing had been on a mission recently. The bald man was worried that Gu Lingqing was from the military, so he captured her to test her. She didn't know what to do when she woke up so that she wouldn't be suspected, so she kept her eyes closed. She thought of the wounds on Gu Lingqing's arms and palms and felt guilty. She didn't know that he hurt her because of Gu Lingqing. She fell asleep in a daze. Gu Lingqing lay next to her and sent a message. Boss, Chief sent a message, the bald man shouted excitedly. Did you cut it off? The bald man asked his men who were staring at the computer. Yes, Chief said. I played with Gu Lingqing's woman today. Have you finished your plan? If Gu Lingqing catches me, I'll be crippled even if I don't die. Boss, what should we do? Ignore him or he'll expose himself, the bald man said. I think he's fine, the bald man analyzed. We'll observe him tonight and see the boss. He's with the boss. This is a serious matter and we can't afford any mistakes, the bald man said cautiously. Chapter 125. After a long time, Baya woke up, opened her eyes, and saw Gu Lingqing sleeping next to her. She frowned. If she pretended not to know Gu Lingqing, she should have left secretly at this time. She didn't dare to go out, worried that Baldy's men were outside. If she was caught by Baldy's men, things would be worse. She deliberately turned over Gu Lingqing's hand and touched his body. Gu Lingqing woke up alertly, held her hand, and pressed it on the bed. Let go of me, Baya said. Her voice was not as sharp as before. Gu Lingqing took a pill and threw it into Baya's mouth. What did you give me to eat? Baya's eyes widened. He kissed her lips. Baya knew that Gu Lingqing wouldn't hurt her. She was saving him, but the fear of the unknown burned her tense nerves. Her body felt strangely hot. Gu Lingqing put her ankle on his shoulder and wanted to have sex with her. However, she didn't take off her clothes from beginning to end. Baldy stared at the moving Gu Lingqing on the screen and cleared his throat. Damn it, he's having fun, and I'm watching. If I'm not happy, I'll go out and find a woman. Boss, do you still want to watch over here? Baldy's men asked. Do as you see fit. Baldy was relieved of Gu Lingqing and drove away. Hearing the sound of the car downstairs, Gu Lingqing's tense nerves relaxed a little. 10 minutes later, his phone rang and he hung up. Gu Lingqing knew in his heart. The sound meant that the surveillance was still on. But he wasn't watching the surveillance. He had to keep Baya in his room. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to protect her when there were a bunch of impatient beasts outside. Baya had yet to recover. His body was limp, and his eyes were half closed as he collapsed on the bed. He tied up Baya and found a blind spot of the surveillance camera. Then he lowered his voice and said, We'll leave at 10 a.m. tomorrow to meet their boss. You'll be pawned, and I'll leave 2 men to protect you. Don't be afraid. Baya was exhausted. He blinked his eyes to show that he understood. Just bear with it for one night. I found out that their boss is Miller. He was the one who planted the bombs during the Blue Wolf exercise. Now he has a lot of weapons of mass destruction in his hands. I have to deal with them, Gu Lingqing explained. Baya knew. He blinked his eyes again and closed them. Gu Lingqing handcuffed their wrists together and covered them with a quilt. Baya held Gu Lingqing's hand. He also held her hand with a bit more strength. At the hotel in the morning, someone knocked on the door. Gu Lingqing woke up. He opened his eyes and met Baya's eyes. She frowned. Before she could say anything, Gu Lingqing taped her mouth. The more he said, the more mistakes he would make. Saying nothing was the safest. He handcuffed her to the bed. Open the door. Boss, how did you sleep last night? We should leave soon. The bald man looked at Baya in the room. His eyes were filled with evil intentions. Don't let this woman go first. We'll celebrate after we're done. When I'm tired of playing with her, I'll throw her to you, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. The bald man's gaze became more flirtatious. You've played with her for the whole night. You're still not tired of her? The important thing is not the technique, but whose woman is she? Xiaowu. Xiaowu. Keep an eye on her. Don't let her escape. If she escapes, you guys can forget about living. Gu Lingqing ordered his men. Yes, boss. I'll change my clothes. Gu Lingqing turned around and went into the bathroom. He brushed his teeth, washed his face, changed his clothes, looked deeply at Baya, and went out. Baya knew that he was going to see their boss. His situation was even more dangerous than hers. If he completed his mission, she would be able to escape unscathed. If he didn't complete his mission, she would probably be in danger too. As time ticked by, her nerves didn't relax for even a moment. 3 hours later, she heard a series of explosions. Bang, bang, bang. Xiaowu rushed into the room and untied Baya. What happened to him? Baya asked worriedly. Hurry up and leave with me, Xiaowu said and pulled Baya out. Baya saw Xiaowu's serious expression. What happened? Where's Gu Lingqing? Did he complete his mission? Don't ask. This isn't something you should know. Leave, Xiaowu said coldly. Baya pulled her hand out and asked defensively, Where's Gu Lingqing? Where is he now? I don't know. I just received a notice to bring you away immediately. The chief will contact you after he escapes unscathed. Please leave with me now. Don't drag the chief down, Xiaowu said seriously. Baya thought about it and agreed. If the bald man caught her, she would drag Gu Lingqing into trouble. She quickly followed Xiaowu and got into Xiaowu's car. Xiaowu drove very fast and sent her back to Jinyang City. Baya held her phone tightly and waited for Gu Lingqing's call. However, it had been more than 3 hours since she arrived at Jinyang City. Gu Lingqing still hadn't called. She had a bad feeling. Logically speaking, an hour after the explosion, Gu Lingqing should be safe. Could something have happened to him? Can you contact your colleagues? I want to know about Gu Lingqing's situation, Baya asked Xiaowu worriedly. Xiaowu didn't say anything. Baya was a little angry. She called Gu Lingqing. I'm sorry, the number you have dialed is not available. She was at her wit's end. Please ask him. I'm worried about Gu Lingqing's safety. I won't disturb you anymore once I'm sure he's safe. Xiaowu glanced at Baya and said coldly, It's a military secret. You can't ask about it. The chief will contact you. Baya knew it was useless to ask again. She looked out of the window worriedly. Xiaowu sent Baya to the entrance of the hotel and left. Baya returned to her room. Zhoumin was there. She saw that Baya's clothes were wrinkled and asked worriedly, What happened? Baya saw Zhoumin and her hope was ignited. She held Zhoumin's shoulder and asked, Can you contact Gu Lingqing now? I'll try. Zhoumin saw that Baya wasn't in a good mood, so she made the call. Baya looked at Zhoumin anxiously. There's no one on the chief's side. Usually, it's not convenient for the chief to answer the call. He might be in a meeting or on a mission, Zhoumin said. Meeting? It doesn't seem like it. He knows that I'm looking for him. I'm worried about him. After the mission is completed, he should tell me. It's even more unlikely that he's on a mission. It's been more than 3 hours since the explosion. The mission should be completed by now, right? Baya said to herself. I'll ask my comrades. Don't worry. Zhoumin was also anxious after hearing what Baya said. She kept making calls. Chapter 126. Baya sat on the sofa and waited for Gu Lingqing's news. She waited for the whole night. She didn't dare to sleep. She was afraid that she would miss Gu Lingqing's call if she fell asleep. In fact, she couldn't sleep at all. She couldn't be at ease if she didn't get any news about Gu Lingqing. 3 days and 3 nights passed just like that. She was exhausted and didn't want to eat. She curled up on the sofa and looked at her phone. Zhou Min felt sorry for her. Baya, eat some food and sleep for a while. I'll keep an eye on you. I'll tell you immediately when the chief calls. If you fall sick, the chief will feel sorry for you. Baya stared at her phone and didn't say anything. Her eyes were empty and weak. Actually, no news is good news, right? Eat some. Zhou Min squatted in front of Baya. Something must have happened to Gu Lingqing. If nothing happened to him, he wouldn't have left me alone. There's no news at all, Baya said with certainty. It had been 3 days. There was no news at all in 3 days. This was unusual in itself. Zhou Min actually felt that something had happened to Gu Lingqing. Why don't you call the chief's parents? They must know what's going on. Zhou Min's words reminded Baya. A bright light lit up in her dim eyes. She didn't want to be with Gu Lingqing now. She just wanted Gu Lingqing to be safe and sound. She dialed Song Shiyu's number. Song Shiyu answered. Hello? I'm Baya. Baya sat up nervously. Yes, I know. Song Shiyu's voice was very calm. I want to know, is Gu Lingqing okay? Baya asked directly. Song Shiyu was silent for a while. I just want to know if he's okay. Baya frowned. She was afraid that Song Shiyu wouldn't tell her. Song Shiyu took a deep breath. He completed his mission with flying colors. He wiped out the enemies and destroyed all their dangerous weapons. However, he suffered a brain injury during the fight with the enemies. He fell into the sea and swam back desperately. In the end, he drowned in the sea and suffered from a lack of oxygen for a long time. His condition is very serious. Take care. Baya's eyes instantly turned red, and tears rolled down her cheeks. She knew that something had happened to him. Are you out of danger yet? Baya asked, choking with sobs. If he died, she would not live alone. Yes, but his brain is damaged and he can't remember many things. I think he probably doesn't recognize you anymore. Perhaps this is a good chance for him to completely walk out of your life. You're safe and the relationship between you two is over, Song Shiyu said gently. Baya. Her mind went blank. It was as if she had slowly descended from heaven. She saw the most beautiful scenery in the world, but she was getting further and further away from it. Was it a fluke, a regret, a reluctance, or actually this was the best possible outcome? Song Shiyu hung up the phone. Baya was still standing there coldly, as if she had lost her soul. Baya, what's wrong? Don't scare me. Zhou Min supported Baya. Baya pushed Zhou Min away and walked out of the room. She didn't know where she wanted to go. She just didn't want to stay in the room and do nothing. Zhou Min was afraid that something would happen to Baya, so she kept following behind Baya. Baya walked unconsciously. She walked from dawn to dusk and sat on the stone bench. The moon was bright tonight, and there were many stars. She went from having nothing to having Gu Lingqing. She had already had a good dream, hadn't she? Everyone should wake up from their dreams and recognize the reality. If she kept dreaming and refused to wake up, she would only become crazy. At least, he was still alive. Without Baya, Gu Lingqing would live a better life. He would have no worries, be energetic, and move forward bravely towards a bright future without any worries. Without Gu Lingqing, Baya would also live a good life. Finally, she returned to the right path of life. Baya went back. She brushed her teeth, washed up, had dinner, and slept. The next day, she returned to work. Work, eat, sleep, everything was normal, except that she didn't say anything. One night after half a month, Zhou Min answered the phone. She knocked on the door of Baya's room with a bad expression. Baya opened the door. Baya, the chief has returned to the army. He completed the mission to eliminate the terrorists and was awarded this morning. He is already a lieutenant general. Baya listened to Zhou Min and was very calm. She expected it. But, according to reliable sources, the chief seems to have lost part of his memory. We can't go back. Zhou Min frowned. What do you mean? What do you mean you can't go back? Baya didn't understand. Back then, the chief specially selected a team of people from the special forces to help you. We are directly under the chief, and our files in the military were temporarily deleted. Now, only the top secret department has our files. The top secret department is a very secretive organization. None of us know where it is. Now that the chief has lost his memory, it means we can't go back. Zhoumin lowered her head in despair. Besides you, who else? Baya realized the seriousness of the matter. She had harmed a team of people. It didn't matter what happened to her now. But what about the soldiers? 2 of them are now negotiating with the antique dealer. 2 of them are now following Lu Liang City 24 hours a day. Another 2 are investigating the manager of the construction company. There are 7 of us. I'm fine, I have a salary. They have nothing now, no direction, and no goal. What should we do in the future? Zhoumin was also at a loss. It started because of me. I will definitely find a way to let you go back to the team. Don't worry. Baya called Song Shiyu. After 5 rings, Song Shiyu answered the phone. What's the matter? Song Shiyu's voice was deep. Sorry to disturb you, Mrs. Song. It's like this. Before the accident, Chief Gu sent a secret team to carry out the mission. He deleted the information of those people, but their information is in the top secret department. I think we should let them go back to the team. Baya said gently. She tried not to put pressure on Song Shiyu. The top secret department of every national organization is independent. No one knows where it is. I don't know either. Lingqing's father doesn't know either. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do. How about this? How many people are there in total? I will give each of them 500,000 yuan as a subsidy. They don't need to go back to the team, and you don't need to call me in the future. Song Shiyu said directly. Baya was silent for a while. Since Mrs. Song wants to use money as a subsidy, let's give each of them 1 million yuan. There are 7 of them, Baya said calmly. Chapter 127. What did she say? Zhoumin asked worriedly. She said that every secret archive room is different. Gu Lingqing's father doesn't know where it is in the military. Other than the person in charge, no one knows where it is. She gave each of you 1 million as compensation, Baya said. Does that mean we can't go back for the rest of our lives? Zhoumin frowned. Gu Lingqing might suddenly regain his memory one day, or you can re-enter the military. Or you can re-enter the military region. I believe that with your excellence, you will definitely succeed again, Baya advised. Zhoumin lowered her eyes. She was capable, strong, and invincible, but she was suddenly dispirited. I need to discuss it with them. Good luck, Baya said apologetically. They were like this because of her. She felt bad, but there was nothing she could do. As a soldier, honor was the most important thing. Everything they had done in the past was negated. If they were in their shoes, they would definitely be sad. Baya closed the door and lay on the bed. She didn't fall asleep again. In the morning, she got up, brushed her teeth, washed up, and opened the door. Zhoumin stood at the door with 6 soldiers. Baya was shocked again. She looked at Zhoumin. What's wrong? We had a meeting last night and made a decision. Our previous mission was to find the culprit of the Tangqian village massacre case. We haven't completed our mission yet, so we'll continue. Now that the chief has temporarily forgotten about us, we'll listen to your instructions from now on, Zhoumin said on behalf of everyone. Baya glanced at everyone's faces. They looked at her expressionlessly, but they also looked dignified. It was a terrifying thing for a person to lose their life goal. She couldn't refuse. Let's work hard together. Baya cheered them on. We're not afraid of hard work, suffering, bleeding, or sweating. We'll move forward with determination towards our goal, the 7 soldiers said in unison. Baya felt her blood boiling in her body. This was the direction she had finally found after half a month. She was also like a walking corpse in the past. Gu Lingqing might forget her and these comrades forever, but they wouldn't forget their duty. And she should be responsible for them. Life was tense but orderly. Gu Lingqing had completely left her life. There was no chance or possibility for them to meet. Due to the special nature of Gu Lingqing's work, she rarely heard news about him. At the end of the year, after a long period of surveillance, tracking, and negotiation, they finally found Lu Liang City's lover. She was also the younger sister of the CEO of Xinjiang Construction Company, and the manager of Xinjiang Construction Company was the younger brother of Lu Liang's lover. Prosecutor by, we now have concrete evidence to prove that the manager of Xinjiang Construction Company is related to the person who smuggled the antiques. We also have concrete evidence to prove that Lu Liang City and Yinwan have an abnormal relationship. Should we make a move? Zhou Min asked cautiously. Lu Liang City sold the land to Xinjiang Construction Company at a normal price. Xinjiang Construction Company excavated the cultural relics and sold them. This has nothing to do with Lu Liang City. Lu Liang City's account was clean. Just based on the fact that he stayed at Yinwan's place, it was not enough to prove that they had done something they shouldn't have. If we launch a surprise attack and don't find Lu Liang City's treasury, we will only alert the enemy. Send the photos of Lu Liang City and Yinwan to Lu Liang City's wife and continue to monitor them. Baya ordered. Yes. Prosecutor Bai, are you going home this new year? Zhou Min asked with concern. Baya paused and shook her head. Tell the brothers not to work too hard. Those who should go home, and those who should reunite should go home. Zhou Min responded and went out to do her work. Baya walked to the sky garden and looked up at the sky. The moon was very bright, carrying the coldness of the moon palace. The cold wind blew across her skin. Her face was almost numb from the cold. What was Gu Lingqing doing now? Was he working, or had he reunited with his family? There was a knock on the door. Baya walked back to the room and gathered her clothes. Looking through the peephole, she saw a waiter holding a bouquet of roses in her hand. Baya opened the door suspiciously. Su Jiaran walked over from the side and said with a smile, Baya, it's been a long time. Meeting is not as good as reminiscing. Baya closed the door coldly. Su Jiaran pushed Baya's door. I brought news about Gu Lingqing. Don't you want to hear it? I don't want to. I'm going to rest. My roommate should be back soon. Please forgive me for not being able to receive you, Baya said resolutely. Gu Lingqing's memory has been restored, Su Jiaran said. Baya's eyes paused and looked at Su Jiaran. It's been restored to 5 or 6 years ago, the day Zhou Hailan got into trouble. Do you know what this means? Su Jiaran smiled. His smile was very cold, with a harsh ice blade. Baya didn't want to hear it anymore. She wanted to close the door, but she couldn't. She turned around and Su Jiaran walked in. This means that, for him, the most painful thing is not parting with you, but with Zhou Hailan, Su Jiaran continued. Are you done? Baya was impatient. Tell me, isn't it your good luck? He refused to marry Su Shaoling no matter what. He's still immersed in the pain of losing Zhou Hailan, Su Jiaran said sarcastically. Su Jiaran, you also said that it's impossible for me and Gu Lingqing. I'm not a person who refuses to wake up from a dream. From now on, no matter good or bad, I don't want to know anything about him. Baya turned her face away and sat on the sofa. Su Jiaran looked at her, and his eyes softened. He sat opposite her. Are you going home for Chinese New Year this year? That's not my home. I'm going there because I hope that my work will be easier in the future. You don't need to rely on Xing Bachuan. There are also ways to make your work easier. For example, continue to be my wife. I promise you, you can have everything you want. Why do you have to bury yourself in this poor and remote place? Baya listened to Su Jiaran's words and found it funny. Su Jiaran, are you in love with me? Baya asked. Su Jiaran's eyes darkened. After we divorced, I haven't touched another woman. I'll make it up to you for what I owe you in the past. I mean it this time. I swear on my father's name. Baya was very calm. Su Jiaran, find a woman and live a good life. Have a child of your own and enjoy the happiness of a family. You and I aren't suitable for each other. I won't believe in love anymore. I just want to be single for the rest of my life. What if I say that I found your child who was taken away? Su Jiran looked at Baiya's expression. Baiya stood up in shock. She was a little agitated and asked a few questions in a row. You found my child? Where is my child? How is he now? Chapter 128. Baiya had never thought about this question. If she took the child to look for Gu Lingqing, would Gu Lingqing admit it? Would Gu Lingqing's parents admit it? Gu Lingqing didn't know her anymore. Would he hate her? If they didn't admit it, what should she do? Her mind went blank for a moment. She couldn't answer him. Su Jiran sneered, stood up, gathered his clothes and said coldly, "Don't worry, I didn't find your child, so it's absolutely impossible for you and Gu Lingqing." Su Jiran turned around and walked towards the door of her room. Baiya stared at Su Jiran's back. She felt that Su Jiran should have found it, but he didn't want to tell her. He wouldn't hurt her child, would he? There was a flash of panic in Baiya's eyes. She said anxiously, "If you find my child, I will marry you. I won't look for Gu Lingqing. Even if Gu Lingqing and I have a child, it's impossible for us to be together. They won't admit this child." Su Jiran turned around and looked at Baiya deeply. He raised the corner of his lips. "Then I'll try my best to find it. I hope you won't go back on your word." Su Jiran opened the door and walked out. Baiya sat back on the sofa, pinched the bridge of her nose and closed her eyes. Where was her and Gu Lingqing's child? Her phone rang. She saw that it was a call from Lu Shuang, and there was a trace of warmth in her cold heart from a friend far away. She answered the phone. "Xiao Bai, are you back for the new year?" Lu Shuang seemed to have a cold, and his voice was buzzing. Baiya didn't plan to go back, but her friends and her mother were still in City A. She should go back and see them. After a while, when the prosecutor's office releases me, I'll come back. When I come back, I'll treat you to a meal. Let's get together. Baiya said softly, "Cool girl. I miss you. I miss you too. By the way, I'm now working as a doctor in the special military. Yesterday, I met Gu Lingqing by chance. How come he doesn't seem to recognize me?" Lu Shuang was surprised. "Cool girl, we're already in the past. Don't mention me in front of him." Baiya instructed. "I also want to have a chance to see him. He is now a lieutenant general and has a lot of meetings every day. If I want to see him, he will be the one speaking on the stage. Even if he got off the stage and bumped into them on the road, there were many rules in the military. He couldn't get close to them. There were so many people around him, so he couldn't get close to them." Lu Shuang said helplessly. "How is he now?" Baiya couldn't help but ask. "He's doing quite well. He solved a huge firearms case and was seriously injured. After he recovered, he was awarded a medal. His career has been soaring." "Did his brain get damaged during the injury?" Lu Shuang guessed. "I think so. It's quite good. He has returned to the right path of life, and I have also returned to the right path of life," Baiya said lightly. Except that she had already left her heart with that person. "We'll contact each other when you come back. I have a lot of things to tell you. I can't wait to see you," Lu Shuang said and hung up. Baiya lay on the sofa and hugged herself with both hands. Inexplicably, her nose felt sour and astringent. An important part of her heart was missing. She felt lonely. On the night of the third day before the prosecutor's office holiday, the chief invited everyone to dinner. Baiya's inaction in the past 6 months was the greatest achievement for the chief. "Prosecutor Bai, will you come back after the new year?" the chief asked tentatively. "I should come back. As for when I'll be transferred back, it depends on the arrangements." "I should be back soon," Baiya said with a smile. "Prosecutor Bai is quite responsible. If you weren't sent here to supervise, I would really wish that you were someone from our office," the chief said respectfully. Baiya smiled. "Let's work hard together." She drank a lot tonight. Maybe it was because she was in a bad mood. Halfway through the meal, Baiya went out for a breath of fresh air. She went to the branch area and looked at the wooden trays. The wooden sign that she and Gu Lingqing had written had long been submerged in other people's wooden signs. Thinking about the past, it was quite childish. The more beautiful the promise, the more it showed the current sadness. She wanted to find her own wooden tray, take it out and throw it away. But there were too many wooden trays. She was completely submerged in the wooden trays. Go, don't let anyone come over. I want to be alone. A familiar voice was heard. Baya paused for a moment and looked at Gu Lingqing, who was standing in front of Lian Lizzie. His face was cool and his eyes were sharp. When he looked at the wooden trays, apart from coldness, there was also ruthlessness and alienation. Who is it? Gu Lingqing realized that there was someone behind the tree and looked over sharply. Baya was surprised to see him here. She came back to her senses and walked out with her head lowered. She explained, I hung a wooden tray on the tree previously. I didn't want to hang it on the tree, so I wanted to find it. Gu Lingqing didn't even look at her and waved his hand. Baya's heart sank. It was as if it had sunk to the bottom of an unfathomable valley. He really didn't know her. He didn't even have any impression of her. Her mind was blank as she walked out slowly. She had a lot of gold under her feet, so heavy that she couldn't lift her feet. She still felt indignant. When she walked to the door, she turned around and looked at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing wrote a wooden tray and hung it on the tree. On the wooden tray was written, Hailan, I miss you so much. Baya felt that there was a knife stabbing into her heart. She didn't even have a chance to breathe. She staggered a step back and held the door frame to support her body. Her eyes were covered with tears. Tears rolled down from the corners of her eyes. She stared at Gu Lingqing in her blurred vision. The betrayal of her body was more of anger. The betrayal of her heart was hysterical pain. The pain made her want to escape quickly. Baya rushed out of the full moon restaurant, stumbling. She didn't know what she had done wrong. She fell in love with Su Jiran and wanted to live a good life with him, but she was never cherished. She fell in love with Gu Lingqing and wanted to be duty-bound, but she didn't even have the qualification to be duty-bound. She wanted a home, a place she could go back to. However, God was hurting her more and more. Did he not want her to live? Baya looked at the car passing by. Her eyes flashed with determination. She rushed to the car. The car turned the steering wheel and passed by her. It didn't stop and drove past. The other cars deliberately avoided her. She looked around in a daze. Tears flowed down. She wanted to drain all the blood in her heart. In this way, would it not hurt anymore? Would she not feel the despair of living a life worse than death? She regained some rationality. Even if she was going to die, she couldn't hurt others. She pressed her heart and walked back to the hotel step by step. She didn't know how she came back. She lay on the bed and looked at the air with dull eyes. Chapter 129. Baya couldn't sleep. She spent the whole night watching videos. From Stephen Chow's A Journey to all kinds of funny variety shows and the pain of youth. Finally, she watched a movie. It was called Hua Mulan. Hua Mulan was on the battlefield for 12 years. She went through all kinds of wars and lost many friends. She fought side by side with Prince Wentai and won the war. In the end, for the sake of peace, Wentai married Ruran Princess and became the emperor. Hua Mulan never married. After she finished watching, her aching heart hurt even more. She sat on the bed and looked at the air silently. She thought about her future, about what she should do, about how good it would be if she could forget everything and live a new life. In the morning, Baya brushed her teeth and washed her face. She looked at herself in the mirror with dark circles under her eyes. She tried to forget what happened last night and hypnotized herself. Life had to go on. She had things to do. She put on makeup to cover the dark circles under her eyes. She applied foundation, highlight powder, and lip gloss. After the reunion dinner, everyone was very lazy at work. Baya continued to organize the letters and documents. She wanted to make herself busy, so busy that she didn't have time to feel sad. At 10 o'clock, the director came to look for Baya. His face was very serious. Baya, someone is looking for you. Who? Baya looked at the director's face. She guessed that the person looking for her was someone important. She couldn't think of anyone. so she followed the director to the director's office. There were 8 expressionless people standing at the door of the director's office. The first thing that came to Bai Ye's mind was that they were soldiers. Could it be that her encounter with Gu Lingqing last night had been found out by Gu Lingqing's parents? She pushed the door open and walked in anxiously. Gu Lingqing was sitting in the director's seat. He was a stiff, cold, and upright person. Even when he was sitting, his posture was straight. The only thing that didn't change was his swift and decisive gaze. It was like an X-ray, as if he wanted to see through her eyes and see her soul. Bai Ye was very surprised that Gu Lingqing would come to look for her. "It's you?" Gu Lingqing was also very surprised. Bai Ye clenched his fists nervously and tried his best to remain calm. He lowered his eyes and asked, "Why are you looking for me?" "Last night I had dinner with an old comrade of mine and he mentioned you." Gu Lingqing asked tentatively with no warmth in his eyes. She guessed it was the director of the armed forces. "What did he say?" Bai Ye asked. "How did he say I did last time?" She said that Bai Ye did not contact her. She should have finished her task, right? But she's still in the procuratorate. "Did I ask you to do something before?" Gu Lingqing asked suspiciously. Bai Ye felt that this was the best chance for Zhou Jing and the rest. Perhaps if she said it out loud, Zhou Jing and the others would leave her, but she couldn't be selfish. "You had a separate task and deleted some people's information to help you carry it out secretly. But the chief lost his memory and can't remember." "I really gave you a task?" Gu Lingqing frowned and looked at Bai Ye's face. "Although you lost your memory, you have a secret archive. You can find their information in the archive," Bai Ye said rationally. "What about you? Did I also send them?" Gu Lingqing's eyes flashed with confusion. "No." Bai Ye's heart ached. "I've met you a few times. You felt that I would be more suitable for the supporting task, so I joined in. I'm not from your military base." "Where are those people now?" Gu Lingqing said sternly. "You probably won't believe me just from my words. I think you should go to the secret archive to find out the details. They are waiting for you to call them back." Bai Ye's eyes turned red. She lowered her eyes to hide the emotions in her eyes. "What is life? You work hard but you don't get anything, so you feel wronged and desperate. It's better not to do anything." Bai Ye left the director's office. Zhou Jing pulled Bai Ye to the courtyard behind the prosecutor's office. She lowered her voice and asked, "Bai Ye, is the person who came to see you today the chief?" "Yes." Gu Lingqing. "Did you tell him about us?" Zhou Ming was anxious and held Bai Ye's hand. "I did. He went to the secret archive to look for it. He should contact you." Bai Ye looked at Zhou Ming reluctantly. Zhou Ming showed a long-lost smile. "That's great. We can finally return to the organization. Fortunately, we haven't given up." Bai Ye's eyes were covered with a layer of mist. "Zhou Ming, what do you think is the relationship between me and Gu Lingqing?" Zhou Ming paused and said honestly, "You're a couple, right?" Tears flowed from the corner of Bai Ye's eyes. She thought of a song. "I've been in love with you, so the thought of it makes my heart ache." She saw indifference, alienation, and unfamiliarity in Gu Lingqing's eyes. There was no her in his eyes. In his heart, there was no her. The current Gu Lingqing had no distractions and was developing well. If she said it out loud, it would only make Gu Lingqing annoyed. There was no benefit. If he didn't love her, he didn't love her anymore. She didn't want pity, sympathy, or compensation. "Zhou Ming, remember that Gu Lingqing and I are not a couple. We've met a few times before and completed a mission together. That's all," Bai Ye said. Zhou Ming looked at Bai Ye's red eyes. "The chief has forgotten about you, but he'll give you a chance. He'll fall in love with you again. Don't be discouraged." Zhou Ming comforted her. "It's good that he's forgotten about me. He's living a new life and he's letting me go. We've crossed paths in the past. In the future, we'll only walk further and further apart. If Gu Lingqing asks about our relationship, just tell him what I said. I'm guessing he'll contact you soon. Your information will be in the confidential archives. He might transfer you away. Even if he doesn't, he won't let you follow me. Alright, tonight I'll treat you guys to a meal. Treat it as a reunion dinner and also a celebration for you guys, Baya said calmly. She made it seem like she wasn't hurt. Zhou Ming was a little sad. What will you do if we walk away? People are fearless when they're ignorant. People who don't understand will talk nonsense. I thought that after I solved the case of the village massacre, I'd have a meteoric rise and climb the mountain. In fact, those pleasant face-slapping, smooth sailing, dangerous situations, and always turning bad luck into good luck only exist in novels and TV shows. I've coveted what I shouldn't have and challenged what I shouldn't have. It's enough to prove that I'm not capable enough, and it's useless to bite off more than I can chew. I'll return to my life and do what I'm supposed to do. Don't worry, everyone has their own destiny, Baya said calmly. Chapter 130. Zhou Jing felt sad. How about this? If the chief wants us to continue the mission, I'll ask you to be the commander. If I'm the commander, I'll only drag you guys down. If Gu Lingqing is the leader, he'll be swift and decisive and have a lot of connections. Most importantly, he's in a high position and it'll be easier for you guys to carry out your work. Let's have dinner together tonight. Baya turned and walked towards the prosecutor's office. She bumped into Gu Lingqing at the door. She lowered her head and stood aside. Gu Lingqing left under the protection of a group of soldiers. He didn't even look at her, just like how she didn't look at him either. She turned around and returned to her office. At night, Zhou Min called everyone back and they gathered at the secret gathering place for dinner. Baya and Zhou Min were the main chefs. The others were also relaxed. They bought beer, peanuts, pig head meat, 3 yellow chicken, fried yellow croaker, braised chicken wings, beef and other cold dishes. They drank first and chatted about all sorts of things. Because they were abandoned together, their relationship deepened. Baya served the hot dishes one by one. Prosecutor Bai, you're so good at cooking. Whoever marries you will be lucky, a soldier teased. Baya smiled. This kind of thing depends on fate. When fate comes, you can't stop it. If fate doesn't come, you can't stop it even if you want to. That's because Prosecutor Bai is sunny. Actually, I think it's better to find someone who's compatible with you. If you're too demanding, you won't be able to find one, another soldier said. That makes sense, Baya agreed. What are you talking about? Someone like Baya has such a good background. Of course, you have to find someone better. Zhou Min scolded. I just want to see if I have a chance. The soldier laughed. You're a toad that wants to eat swan meat. Dream on. Zhou Min helped Baya block it. Then, Zhou Min, do you think we're good enough? Pfft. Ha 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 ha. As Baya watched them play and have fun, there was a hint of tenderness in her eyes. The light above her head shone into her eyes, illuminating her originally beautiful face. She realized that people with a low point of satisfaction, who thought less and hoped less, would be happy. Actually, she didn't have high requirements. She just wanted a family, a husband who loved her, and a child that belonged to them. She didn't need to be rich or wealthy. She just wanted a simple, ordinary, and warm life. However, it seemed that this hope had become an extravagant hope. It wasn't that she wasn't satisfied, but she didn't know what else she wanted. People like her were probably the most miserable, with no desires. Half of the meal was over. Zhou Min's phone rang. She saw that it was a call from a stranger and picked it up. Baya looked at Zhou Min. Yes, I am. I am the person in charge of the ancient operation. Yes, they are all following me. Yes, I will report back tomorrow. Yes, thank you for the organization's kindness. I will definitely do my best. Zhou Min's face was filled with excitement, but her eyes were misty. When Zhou Min picked up the phone, everyone was silent. Even their breathing could be heard clearly. Zhou Min hung up the phone. She was a little emotional and said to her comrades, "They found our information and recovered our files. We can go back now. We will report back tomorrow." "Oh, that's great, that's great. We can finally go back. We can finally do big things again. I miss my bed in the military base. I miss the military field. I miss my class monitor." Baya watched as they danced around, sang military songs, and played together. Her lips curled into a smile. The next day, Zhou Min left early. When she heard the door close, she opened her eyes and stared at the ceiling in a daze. There was a place in her heart that she had lost again. She seemed to have become even more lonely. After Zhou Min left, she went to the prosecutor's office to apply for leave and went straight home. She didn't take a plane but took a train instead. She couldn't get a berth and didn't even have a seat. She could only stand. Because it was almost the Lunar New Year. There were many people on the train. There were bags of all sizes. The young, the old, and the young. Some of them were staring out of the window in a daze. Some were eating instant noodles, some were gnawing on chicken feet, and some were resting with their eyes closed. Some of them looked happy. Some of them talked nonstop. Some of them looked sad. Some of them looked down and played with their phones, and some of them couldn't be distinguished. Baya was bored. What was she thinking about? What were the happy people happy about? What were the sad people sad about? And she hadn't changed at all. She was single, had a job, had a friend like Lu Shuang, and had a mother to take care of. The only difference was that she had lost her heart. Take a seat. You've been standing for a long time. A man in a suit said to Baya and stood up. Baya smiled. I'm not tired, thank you. Where are you going? You don't have much luggage. Are you still a student? The man asked politely. Student? Baya thought of her student life. At that time, she was diligent, busy, and poor. Every day, she had to study and earn money to support herself. She wanted to find a better job. She had no one to rely on. She could only rely on herself. Her life was tough, but she was full of hope for life. With a vision for the future, she worked hard. She shook her head. I'm not a student. Hey, you work in Jinyang City. You should go home now, the man guessed. Baya didn't say anything else and picked up her phone. Seeing that Baya didn't want to sit down, the man sat down again. Baya played with her phone. She looked at all her contacts, but she didn't know who to send it to. After thinking for a while, she sent it to Lu Shuang. Shuang Niu, I came back early by train. I'll be there at around 18:45. Let's get together tonight. I'll treat you to dinner. After Baya sent the message, Lu Shuang replied immediately. Okay, call me when you arrive. I'll pick you up at the train station. Mwah. Looking at Lu Shuang's message, Baya's lips curled up. Lu Shuang was still as passionate and unrestrained as ever. However, she didn't know what to say to Lu Shuang. She hung up the phone. I'm a fortune teller. Do you want me to tell your fortune? The man asked again. Baya looked at the man. Fortune-telling was just a little bit of research on psychology. She had also majored in psychology. Anyway, they were strangers. After getting off the train, they didn't know each other anymore. Okay, you can tell my fortune, Baya said softly. The man looked at Baya's eyes and said, You've fallen out of love. Sort of. Baya laughed. You're so accurate. Why did you guess that I'm a student before? I guessed that you're a student to make you look younger. Being a student is the best time. Many girls like others to think of them as students. The man explained politely. Baya also looked at the man. She sized up the man's clothes, spoke calmly, and said softly, You're working, divorced, and don't have children. Chapter 131. You are a doctor in the field of psychology. You have some achievements in your career and you want to enjoy life. You came to Jinyang City on a business trip and had sex with an online friend whom you have been chatting with for a few days. She came to send you off today, but you are not satisfied with her. Because of that, you decided to go back early. Baya analyzed. The man's eyes were filled with surprise. How did you analyze that? Your analysis is correct. Firstly, there is a ring mark on your ring finger. You just got divorced. If you have a child, you will be confused and annoyed. But you don't. Secondly, you are wearing a Patek Philippe watch. This watch is expensive, so you are successful in your career. Thirdly, there is a faint smell of medicine on your body. It is not very strong. The way you talk is not like a normal doctor. Moreover, your analysis of me should be psychological. Fourthly, There is a woman's powder smell on your body. The smell is on your face, clothes, and hands. This is not a normal relationship between a man and a woman. Fifthly, you do not have much luggage. Only that briefcase is yours. Only that briefcase matches your taste. So, you are on a business trip. Sixthly, with your status, you should not take a plane or a sleeper. It is an emergency. You should be going back early by taking the train. Seventhly, there is no worry about work or life between your eyebrows. But you are so eager to talk to me. Your pupils are dilated. That is the psychology of hunting for women. From your psychology, I can judge your character and mentality. Baya finished her analysis. The man was not angry at all. Instead, he was surprised and looked at Baya. I know all the famous or capable people in the field of psychology. I am also familiar with the faces of the students in recent years. But I have never seen or heard of you. You are so beautiful. You should leave a deep impression. The man was curious. Baya looked down. She had studied psychology for a year when she was in university. She thought she had learned enough. But it turned out that theory alone was not enough. After she lost her child, she went to see a psychologist. She also studied psychology books to hypnotize and numb herself. She thought she was rational, clear, and could see through many things. But reality proved that complacency was due to ignorance. Because she did not know anything, she felt that she was full of herself. A doctor cannot cure himself. That made sense. What's wrong? If you need my help, feel free to come and find me. In addition, I welcome talents like you to work in my courtyard. I will hire you with a high salary. The man handed over a gold-plated business card. Baya took it and glanced at it. Mu Shaoxing, an international psychologist, was the vice president of the Institute of Psychology, a negotiation expert, and a professor of psychological counseling in the military. The word military district was like a hammer pounding on her heart. She put his card into her bag. I gave you my business card. Won't you give me one? Mu Shaoxing asked gently. I'm sorry, I don't have a name card. If I need anything, I will contact you. I hope that there will never be a day when I need anything. Baya smiled. There was sadness in his eyes, but it disappeared in an instant. Mu Shaoxing could see that Baya was very defensive. He stood up and said, Since we know each other, sit down. I'll tell you a way to quickly forget the past. What is it? Baya was curious and sat down. There is a method called hypnosis. It is divided into self-hypnosis, forced hypnosis, and pathological hypnosis. You can forget some unhappy things through forced hypnosis and self-hypnosis. Now, experts in the United States have developed a more advanced technology. It is currently in the experimental stage. It needs to be combined with hypnosis treatment. What technology? These academic things could only be understood by experts. It has been reported on the internet before. It is mainly used to treat mental patients. Most of the mental patients suffered a heavy blow in their relationships and lives, so they were hit until their minds were muddled. In fact, this is a kind of self-protection for people to escape from the pain that makes them wish they were dead. Experts believe that as long as this part of the painful experience is extracted, people can slowly recover. Mu Shaoxing explained. How do you extract a person's memory? Baya was puzzled. The principle is that the human brain is equivalent to a mainframe. The main thing is to find the sad memory stored in the mainframe and delete it. How do you find the sad memory? Baya asked. Mu Shaoxing didn't expect Baya to be such a calm person. He laughed unconsciously. In your life, you are a person who makes people feel very pressured. Don't be too rational. It is rare to be confused. Baya looked out of the window and ignored Mu Shaoxing. Mu Shaoxing looked at Baya's beautiful side profile. Some technical things are not available to the public. This skill is not mature. It is still in the experimental stage. If you are interested, I can cooperate with them to do psychological counseling. If there is a chance, I will take you to have a look. Baya leaned on the chair and closed her eyes. Mu Shaoxing was speechless. He stood for a full 3 hours. He cleared his throat and insisted on standing. Baya looked at him, stood up, and walked to the bathroom. Mu Xiaoxing's face was strange and awkward. He sat on the chair. Baya went to the bathroom and didn't go back. She stood at the door and looked at the scenery outside. She read a report a few days ago. A 60-year-old married woman was cheated of more than 600,000 yuan. The general story was that the man said he wanted a divorce because of her. But the company's funds were frozen and he had to fight a lawsuit with his wife. The woman borrowed money to fight a lawsuit with her lover, whom she had never met. In the end, both the woman and the money were gone. If he was wrong, he was wrong. If the woman didn't step on the moral bottom line, ignore the pain of the man's wife, and be selfish, she wouldn't have suffered the consequences. People must have self-awareness. Why should the man love you? If you don't deserve the man's love, it must be a seemingly sweet lie. For her, Gu Lingqing was a great temptation. She only had eyes for him. She forgot her identity, status, gap, possibility, and reason. She dived into it, betrayed the marriage, and stepped on her own bottom line. That was why there was such a result today. No one would bear it for her. She could only bear it herself. Why are you here? Gu Lingqing's voice sounded. Baya turned around and saw his clear eyes, cold arrogance, and a trace of suspicion, scrutiny, and defensiveness. The corners of Baya's mouth curled up slightly, as if it had been 10,000 years. She said faintly, "I'm going home. Is there a seat?" Gu Lingqing asked. Yes. Baya nodded, walked past Gu Lingqing, and walked into the car. Gu Lingqing looked at her back with deep eyes. There were some ripples in his eyes. Chapter 132. Baya's back stiffened, and she moved to the side defensively. Gu Lingqing felt that he was being rude. He let go of his hand and looked at her expressionlessly. There was no warmth in his voice. He asked, "Where are you getting off?" Baya lowered her head and clenched her fists slightly. She calmed herself down and replied, "City A. It's still more than 5 hours from here to City A. Come with me. I just have something to ask you." Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. He didn't allow anyone to refuse. Baya thought that if Gu Lingqing hadn't been so domineering to enter her world, strong and domineering, she wouldn't have fallen in love with him. She wanted to pull away several times. Now she was already deeply involved, but he didn't leave a cloud behind and pulled away. Baya walked towards her box. Gu Lingqing followed behind her. He glanced at the seats, which were all occupied. "Didn't you say that you had a seat?" Baya tried to reach her suitcase, but she couldn't reach it. Gu Lingqing reached out and helped her take it down. Baya explained, "There are so many people in the carriage. When I stand up, someone will naturally sit on it. Isn't it normal?" "Really?" Gu Lingqing didn't quite believe it. If someone sat on her seat and saw her coming back, they should have stood up sensibly. Mu Xiaoxing looked at Baya and then looked at Gu Lingqing. He stood up and said heroically, "What's wrong? Do you need help?" Baya shook her head. "Thank you." She walked towards the front. Gu Lingqing took her to the box. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, she always thought that the train only had hard berths, soft berths, seats, and no seats. His box had a large bed of 1.8 meters by 1.8 meters, a table with a coffee pot, fruit, a computer, and a sofa. "Sit down." Gu Lingqing pointed to the sofa. Baya sat down. Gu Lingqing sat down opposite her. "I heard from Zhou Jing that I trust you a lot. So, you're participating in this ancient mission, and you're a very important part of it. How did I get to know you?" Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. She was neither humble nor pushy, nor did she try to avoid his gaze. "You were carrying out a mission before, and you needed an obstetrician and gynecologist. I was that obstetrician and gynecologist. We met once during the mission. Lieutenant Colonel Shang, who was with you, should be able to prove this." "Lieutenant Colonel Shang? What's his name? Is he one of my people?" Gu Lingqing was suspicious. Baya remembered. Su Jiran once said that Gu Lingqing's memory stopped on the day his girlfriend died. At that time, he was just a special forces soldier, a first lieutenant, a lieutenant colonel. Lieutenant Colonel Shang had yet to return to his side. Now it seemed that Lieutenant Colonel Shang had been secretly transferred away. The person who secretly transferred Lieutenant Colonel Shang away was most likely Gu Lingqing's father, Gu Tianheng. Her little finger was slightly painful. She covered it with her left hand and said softly, "I'm not familiar with him, and we don't have any contact. So, I don't know his name, and I'm not sure if he is one of your people." "What happened to your little finger?" Gu Lingqing frowned and asked with suspicion in his eyes. "I was kidnapped, and it was chopped off when I was kidnapped." Baya said softly, "My little finger is gone too. Does it have anything to do with you?" Gu Lingqing asked. Baya twitched the corner of her mouth. She was a little angry, a little sad, and a little desperate. Because she was unwilling, she regretted and complained. However, she couldn't blame Gu Lingqing. In the past, Gu Lingqing loved her deeply and protected her with his life several times. He lost his memory, and he didn't do it willingly. If Gu Lingqing died, she would follow him without hesitation. No matter what, she wouldn't be afraid, and she would follow him all the way. However, Gu Lingqing was still alive. He just lost her. Even if she died, she couldn't find Gu Lingqing. She could only let him go and let him fly. It doesn't matter. Maybe they both like to chop off their little fingers. Baya said coldly, "I've checked the information. This ancient operation is related to the massacre case of Tangqian village. Do you know about it?" Gu Lingqing continued to ask. "It started from the fall of a governor named Cheng Bin. He was murdered and some people suspected you. So, in order to prove your innocence, you investigated Tangqian village. The person who killed Cheng Bin was called Tang Xiaojiu. He was the son of the village chief of Tangqian village. So, you know about the massacre case of Tangqian village. It should be in your mailbox," Baya said lightly. "I've told you about it. You and I should be acquaintances, right? You're very cold to me." Gu Lingqing felt that things weren't that simple. Baya said coldly, "I'm like this. You'll know it when you check my background. I've been married and divorced. My mother is mentally ill. This kind of living environment is destined to not be optimistic. I have a lively personality. I'm cold to everyone." Gu Lingqing's eyes turned cold. "I want you to cooperate with me in this case. Is that okay?" Gu Lingqing asked. "No, I lost my memory because of you. Now that you're back, I should leave," Baya said rationally. It had been half a year, and she knew her own limits very well. Gu Lingqing obviously had Zhou Min. He didn't need her. She didn't want to be involved with him. If she stopped thinking about him, she wouldn't be so sad every day. She was afraid that one day, she would become the next Bai Bing. "If you need anything, you can ask Zhou Min to look for me," Gu Lingqing said harshly. He turned around and worked on the computer. Baya didn't look at him. She closed her eyes. Gu Lingqing didn't give her his phone number directly. It meant that he wanted to walk out of her life completely. So be it. Since she chose to let go, she would work hard to make it happen. She didn't sleep last night. She fell asleep in a daze just now. Now she was too sleepy. After a while she fell asleep. She was woken up by someone. Baya opened her eyes. She didn't know when she fell asleep on Gu Lingqing's bed. "It'll be here in 10 minutes, Gu Lingqing reminded her. Baya got up from his bed, walked into the bathroom, washed her face and came back. She nodded at Gu Lingqing. "Thank you for taking care of me. Do you need me to call someone to send you back?" Gu Lingqing asked. "No need. My friend is waiting for me at the door. Thank you again. I hope you'll be successful, happy, and healthy in the future." Baya said what she wanted to say. She turned around and left his private room with her luggage. She went to the door and looked at the scenery outside. She hadn't been back to City A for a long time. Compared to Jinyang City, this place was more intimate. The corners of her mouth lifted slightly. Chapter 133. As soon as Baya went out, Lu Shuang waved his hands and shouted happily, Xiao Bai, my Xiao Bai. Baya smiled when she saw Lu Shuang. They hadn't seen each other for almost half a year. Lu Shuang was still as lively and cheerful as before. She walked toward Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang took her luggage and put it in the trunk. Xiao Bai, long time no see. You're prettier than before. I feel like I'm eating honey every day when I'm with you. You're prettier too. Baya hugged Lu Shuang. Then why are you still going to Jinyang City? Lu Shuang said regretfully. Baya's eyes dimmed. If you don't work hard, you won't know what you're capable of. Lu Shuang was amused. Thank you for comforting me. You can sleep at my place tonight. We haven't been together for a long time. Okay. Baya got in the car and put on the seatbelt. She looked out of the window. There weren't many changes in City A. You're so cruel. You didn't contact me after you left the hospital. I was so sad. I thought I had no friends left. Lu Shuang said coquettishly. You're my only best friend. It's not that I didn't contact you. I just had too many things to do. Baya comforted him. When are you going to transfer back? I miss you so much. Don't go to Jinyang City after the new year. Gu Lingqing had already accepted the position in Jinyang City. Even if he didn't accept it, he would send someone more capable to do it. She really didn't have to go back. Baya leaned against the window and looked at Lu Shuang. What about you? Did you find a boyfriend? Sigh. I entered the military with the hope of finding a boyfriend. Damn it. There's a tigress in the military who makes me do this and that every day. I didn't see any officers, just a bunch of dark guys whose faces I couldn't see clearly. Most importantly, I didn't see anyone particularly handsome. Isn't it the special forces? They should all be handsome. Lu Shuang was disappointed. Baya laughed. Shiniyen is quite handsome. Don't. That man is just an embroidered pillow, a bag of grass. Lu Shuang directly rejected Shiniyen. So, our Shuangniu is a person who looks at inner qualities. I also want to have a chance to understand them. The requirements in the military were very high, and many places could not be entered without permission. Their work seems to be very busy, so I can only get in touch with some of the lowest level. More importantly, I didn't even have the chance to communicate with those at the bottom. They have a clear hierarchy. For example, if I want to see Gu Lingqing, even in the same military region, it's almost impossible, let alone talk to the top leader. Lu Shuang complained. This is fate. There's no need to force it, Baya said in a carefree manner. Lu Shuang glanced at Baya and wanted to ask about Gu Lingqing. However, when he saw that Baya didn't want to mention Gu Lingqing, he stopped himself and didn't say anything. After a while, Lu Shuang brought Baya to a newly opened restaurant. This restaurant is famous now. It's the only one with 3 Michelin stars in City A. Usually, you have to make a reservation half a month in advance to get a table. Lu Shuang got out of the car and introduced. It seems that you are not an ordinary person. Baya continued Lu Shuang's words. Not really. I made a reservation half a month ago. I was going to eat alone, and you just came back. Don't you think it's a coincidence? Lu Shuang brought Baya into the restaurant. Baya smiled faintly. There were many people in the restaurant, and there was a large group of people waiting for a table at the door. The business was very good. Lu Shuang told the waiter his last phone number and sat down with the waiter. Baya picked up the menu and ordered 5 or 6 dishes. Lu Shuang ordered another 6 dishes. You ordered so many dishes. Are there still people coming? Baya asked curiously. No. I eat in the cafeteria in the military area every day. It's not easy for me to come out, so I must eat to my heart's content. By the way, didn't you say that the work in the military area was easy, so you went to the military area? Easy my ass. There are no surgeries, but there are a lot of small things. They often do surprise attacks in the middle of the night. I'm often on the night shift, and there are often injured people sent here. The key is that there are exams and all kinds of things. I heard that they also need doctors to follow them when they carry out missions. I feel like I'm courting death. Lu Shuang was very depressed. Don't worry. The doctors they look for on missions are also outstanding. They won't drag you down. Baya supported her face and said jokingly, I think so too. So who's that? Su Shaoling still trains with the soldiers every day. I just stay in the nursing room and blow on the heater. I'm determined not to go out. Lu Shuang loved to talk. He talked a lot, from his life in the military area to his former colleagues, and then from his former colleagues to his university life. Do you have a boyfriend in Jinyang City? Lu Shuang asked curiously. Baya shook her head. I've experienced the best scenery, so I won't make do with it. If I make do with it, I'll hurt others. Maybe being alone is the best ending for me. Lu Shuang held Baya's hand and comforted her. Little Bai, you're so good. You have a high degree, a high IQ, a beautiful face, a good figure, and you're gentle. You also know how to do housework and always think about others. A goddess like you will definitely find the best man. You're making me proud. Why haven't I realized that I have so many advantages? Baya poked Lu Shuang's nose. I'm so happy to see you today. Let's have a drink. Okay? Lu Shuang said coquettishly. Okay, this is my treat today. Forget it. Don't I know how much money you have? Waiter. Lu Shuang shouted. I work in Jinyang City and earn a lot of money. Because I was transferred from City A, the procuratorate won't mistreat me. I even got a year-end bonus of more than 100,000 yuan. I usually live in a 6-star presidential suite. Baya explained. Presidential suite? That's so good. I live in the dormitory in the military area and sleep on the same bunk with others. My salary for half a year is less than 100,000 yuan. I want to follow you to be a prosecutor. Lu Shuang scratched his head and felt even more depressed. It's a blessing in disguise. You'll know what it's like after you do it. Don't regret. Just be flexible. Baya said meaningfully. Yes, I'll apply for the disciplinary examination. I still like working with you. We'll do everything together. Lu Shuang held Baya's hand tightly. Baya smiled. Her smile was as light as a clear spring. It made people feel comfortable, but there was also an indescribable sadness. It's you? Are you also eating here? A man's voice sounded. Baya looked to the side. It was the man she met on the train, Mu Shaoxing. We met twice in one day. It's really a good fate. Mu Shaoxing smiled. Fate. It's not necessarily a good fate. Baya said bluntly. Chapter 134. What's the secret? Baya blurted out. Can I have your phone number? Mu Shaoxing asked gently. Baya's eyes turned cold. He said the secret was just a way to strike up a conversation. Moreover, what did Gu Lingqing's secret have to do with her? If we have a chance next time, it's not too late to stay. Besides, I don't think your girlfriend is very willing. Baya smiled at his female companion. She's not my girlfriend. She's my colleague. Mu Shaoxing explained. Even rabbits don't eat the grass near their nests. Dean Mu, flowers are everywhere. It's really amazing. Baya said coldly. Mu Shaoxing felt a little embarrassed. He smiled faintly and left with his colleague. I told you, you're so beautiful. Peach blossoms are everywhere, although they're not good ones. Sigh. Lu Shuang sighed. Baya listened to Lu Shuang talking about a lot of gossip and anecdotes when she was not around. They drank a little. She didn't know if she felt that both of them had drunk too much. Lu Shuang didn't drive back. They took a taxi. When they arrived home, they felt dizzy. They took a shower and climbed into bed. Lu Shuang hugged Baya and muttered in a low voice, Little Bai, don't leave again. If you want to leave, take me with you. Baya opened her eyes and looked at the air. Her eyes were as calm as water. It was misty. She closed her eyes quietly. The next day, Lu Shuang went to work in the military unwillingly. When he left, he was complaining again. Boring. It's too boring. Little Bai, you know that soldiers don't have holidays. They can have a long holiday once a year. The long holiday can last for a month, but they don't even have annual leave. Like me, it's only 3 days. It's boring. It's too boring. I don't want to work anymore. I want to wander around with you. Treat the military base as your home. You're basically at home every day, Baya joked. Lu Shuang put on his military uniform and said, You're so bad. If you come, I'll treat Tian as my home. Now that there's an old witch at home, I can only treat Tian as my prison. Hey, I'll go to work first. I'll see if I can take some time off. When the time comes, I'll go shopping with you. Baya looked at Lu Shuang with a smile. Her military uniform on the bed was really handsome, majestic, and convincing. She thought that this was the charm of a soldier. She even felt that he looked handsome in his uniform. Lu Shuang went to work. Baya went to the sanatorium to see Bai Bing. Instead of going directly to Bai Bing's ward, she went to find Bai Bing's attending doctor. "How's my mother?" Baya asked with concern. "She's getting more and more absent-minded. You'll know when you see her later," the doctor said apologetically. "I want to ask, how long can my mother live in such a situation?" "At most 5 years. You should be mentally prepared. There are also people who have lived for more than 10 years. To be honest, she's living in her own dream now. She'll only burden her family if she lives," the doctor said cruelly. "I want to pay for her for 10 years. How much does it cost?" Baya asked. 10 years? Are you going to travel far? You can remit money when the time comes. Why do you want to pay for 10 years at once?" The doctor was surprised. "I'm going to a place that's isolated from the world. So I want to pay all the money," Baya said with a smile. The doctor looked at Baya suspiciously. "You're not taking things too hard, are you?" "I'm not taking things too hard." Baya continued the doctor's words. "Go to the cashier's office and have a look. Your mother's situation is subsidized by the state. She shouldn't have to pay much," the doctor said. "Thank you." Baya went to the cashier's office. The staff at the cashier's office calculated with a computer and said, 165,842. Baya checked her bank account and found that she had 235,673 yuan in it. "I'll pay 230,000 in advance. If it's not used up, my mother will pass away. Please use the rest of the money for her funeral. If it's not enough, I'll give you a phone number and you can call him," Baya said. She paid the money and gave him Xing Bachuan's phone number. This was what Xing Bachuan owed her mother. Baya was done and went to Bai Bing's ward. Bai Bing didn't seem to see Baya. She hugged the pillow and muttered to herself, "Bachuan, look, Xiaoya is smiling. Xiaoya is so smart. She could call mom at 10 months and walk at 13 months. She could recite the 3-character classic at 2 years old. She's like you, but she looks like you. I'm beautiful." When Baya saw Bai Bing smile, she cried quietly. In her memory, she had never seen Bai Bing smile. She was completely crazy, but she saw it. Was this ironic? If her family was happy, would she be as desperate as she was now? Unfortunately, there were no ifs in the world. "Bachuan, thank you for falling in love with me. I'll love you forever. I'm going to breastfeed Xiaoya. You can't watch," Bai Bing said to the air. She lifted her clothes and pressed her body against the pillow. Baya sat in front of Bai Bing. Bai Bing looked at Baya defensively. "Don't take my child. Go away." Baya felt sad. She brushed Bai Bing's hair, leaned over, and kissed her on the forehead. She said softly, "Mom, I'm sorry I can't take care of you anymore. If there's a next life, I'll still be your daughter. Thank you for everything you've done for me." Bai Bing looked at Baya in a daze. "Bachuan said that he only loves me." "Yeah, he only loves you," Baya replied. Bai Bing smiled. "I knew he only loves me. I had nothing back then. I was just an orphan. Bachuan ignored his family's objections and married me. He really, really loves me." Baya nodded, turned her face away, and walked out. She didn't want to become like Bai Bing in the future. She looked so pitiful. If she was living in a dream now, she might as well die with it. But where was she going to die? Jumping into a river was the most uncomfortable way to die. Water would enter through the nose and mouth, tickling the heart and lungs, suffocating. After death, the body would even swell and float to the surface, emitting a foul smell. Jumping off a building, not dying but becoming a cripple would be tragic. Dying would be too unsightly. Drinking poison generally wouldn't die within 2 to 3 hours. There would be no more dreams. She thought of cutting her wrists. Cutting her wrists wouldn't hurt. After taking a few sleeping pills, she would fall asleep and die. Losing too much blood would make her look ugly. Fortunately, she could put on makeup. She couldn't die at Lu Shuang's place and cause trouble for Lu Shuang. She couldn't die in a hotel and cause trouble for strangers. If she died in the wilderness, she would be afraid of being discovered. What's more, she would be afraid that no one would find her. Her body would stink and rot. She didn't have a home, and she didn't have her own space. After thinking about it, she could only think of Xing Bachuan's place. She was Xing Bachuan's daughter. Her body, hair, and skin were given by her parents. Chapter 135. Baya went back to Lu Shuang's place to take a shower. She changed into a long white dress and a black coat. She didn't take her luggage with her and left it at Lu Shuang's place. She was a little selfish. If she left it at Xing Bachuan's place, it would definitely be thrown away like trash. Sometimes, she didn't want to leave no trace of her existence in this world. Baya went to Xing Bachuan's place. Xing Jinyan rolled her eyes when she saw Baya coming over. "Mom, that be *TCH's back," Xing Jinyan said loudly on purpose. Baya walked past indifferently, not even looking at her. Xing Jinyan was furious. She blocked Baya's way. "Baya, this is my house. Don't you have to greet me when you enter my house?" Baya looked up at Xing Jinyan. Her eyes were as calm as still water. "I think you don't like greeting me either. Since you know that there's no place for you in this house. Why did you still come?" Xing Jinyan said through gritted teeth. "Xing Jinyan, good and evil will be repaid in the end. What you did to me will not be buried in the dust with time. Heaven knows, earth knows, and I know," Baya said calmly. She walked past Xing Jinyan. Xing Jinyan didn't follow her because she had a guilty conscience. She had asked people to kidnap Baya and even asked people to kill Baya. If Baya hadn't left early, she would have planned for Baya to lie on Gu Lingqing's bed. Did Baya know that she was the one who did all of this? She looked at Baya's back. The more she thought about it, the more afraid she became. "Baya, don't think that I'm afraid of you. You're nothing in my eyes," Xing Jinyan said arrogantly. Baya didn't turn back. She opened the door, entered the room and locked the door. She had put on a very delicate makeup. She applied a white foundation, blush, and a vintage red color. She didn't leave out a single eyelash, eyebrow powder, and eyeliner. Baya also loved to be pretty. She smiled at herself in the mirror and remembered her youthful and beautiful appearance. She took a photo and put it in her QQ space, which she had not used for a long time. It was accompanied by the words, "Just as we first met." She took the sheets and comforter out of the cupboard. These were all bought by her. They were very clean. She spread it on the bed. Xing Bachuan's villa was very quiet. Unfortunately, there was no sunlight today. In the winter, it was gloomy and cold. She didn't wear much, but it didn't matter. She would eventually become a cold corpse. She took off her black coat and put it on the table. He took out a sharp knife from his bag. Without any hesitation, she cut her wrist. Red blood flowed out and dripped on her snow-white dress. She also threw the knife on the table. Cutting the wrist with a sharp knife was actually not painful. The blood was warm and flowed from her fingers. She lay on the bed quietly and closed her eyes. The doctor at the sanatorium said, "Don't take it too hard." She was actually quite open-minded. Her heart was lost, and she could never find it again. For the sake of Gu Lingqing's bright future, she couldn't even go to him. Without her in his heart, if she told the truth, it would only make him disgusted, worried, and hate her. Since she was born, she hadn't been happy for more than a few days. Now she had no more desires. She had done what she should do. She didn't insist on what she couldn't give up. She didn't want another life. This world had never given her a bright color, and she didn't want to miss it. More and more blood flowed out. She also became more and more drowsy. "Gu Lingqing, you must be happy. Lu Shuang, you must be happy. Baya fell asleep. Time passed by, minute by minute. Su Jiran's eyelids kept twitching. His heart was heavy, and he had a very uncomfortable feeling. He remembered that Baya would always cook a table of delicious food during the New Year. He would occasionally go over to see what she had cooked, but he would never eat at Baya's place. He liked to see her eager but unable to say it. He always wanted to bully her, say a few words to make her angry, but she would never cry. He wanted to make her cry. This was a perverted mentality. She was too proud, too strong, too proud in front of him, and he wanted to make her cry. One day, he finally made her cry as he wished, but she never came back. Su Jiran's heart was wrenched. He used the landline to make a call. He called by Ya's cell phone number. He couldn't remember anyone's phone number, not even his own, except by Ya's. Many times he wanted to call her, but he held back, because he didn't know what to say to her. The call went through. Su Jiran was very nervous, and he thought about a lot of opening remarks. However, the phone hung up automatically, and Baya didn't hear it. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Come in, Su Jiran said in a deep voice. Director Su, you have a meeting in the afternoon. There are still 10 minutes left. The male assistant reminded him. Xiao Zhang, lend me your phone, Su Jiran said. Xiao Zhang handed over his phone. Puzzled, Su Jiran made a call, but Baya still didn't pick up. He was a little uneasy, so he erased the call history on Xiao Zhang's phone. Did Baya not hear it? He walked towards the conference room, and his phone rang. It was Xing Jinyan. Su Jiran was very impatient. Every day, Xing Jinyan would call him more than 10 times, watching his every move like a detective. With the evidence he had on Xing Bachuan, he could destroy the Xing family in minutes. However, he hadn't done it yet because he was worried about Baya. He was afraid that Baya would hate him, so he let Xing Bachuan be proud for a while longer. He picked up. What's up, Jiran? When are you coming back? I miss you so much, Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. Su Jiran glanced at the time on his phone. It was only 2 o'clock. I'm at work now. Baya is back today, and I don't want to see her. I'll stay at your place today. Okay? Su Jiran's eyes froze, and he frowned. She's back, so you should stay at home. Are you afraid of her? Su Jiran entered the elevator. The assistant took it to the 16th floor. Su Jiran pressed the button for the first floor. Why would I be afraid of her? She's too arrogant, and I've never seen someone like her. She's staying at my place now, Xing Jinyan said indignantly. Be good. I'll be back to keep you company now. Su Jiran's lips curled up, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Really? That's great, Jiran. Su Jiran hung up and said to the assistant, Today's meeting will be a video conference. I'll contact you when I'm free. Okay. The assistant nodded, confused. Chapter 136. There was no traffic at 2 o'clock. He arrived at Xing Bachuan's house in 20 minutes. Xing Jinyan had put on exquisite makeup and ran to Su Jiran. Jiran, you're back. Su Jiran smiled. His smile was devilish and distant. Where's your father? Is he back? How could my father be back at this hour? He's not you, the CEO of a company. You decide the working hours. Jiran, I haven't seen you for a few days. What have you been busy with? Xing Jinyan asked warmly. It's the end of the year and I'm busy with work. Why don't you come to work with me tomorrow and help me? Su Jiran walked into the house and looked around. His gaze landed on Baya's door. I don't want to. I'll go to your place. You're too busy and you find me annoying when you're busy. It's better for me to stay at home now. I'll still get paid. Xing Jinyan was delighted. Su Jiran's eyes flashed with disgust. Baya never asked him for money. Even if he gave her money, Baya wouldn't take it. Yes, you're the young madam, Su Jiran said sweetly and sat on the sofa. How long has she been back? Xing Jinyan knew that Su Jiran was referring to Baya. When I called you, Baya was acting weird. She went into her room and didn't come out. as if we owed her something. I don't know when she'll be leaving. Hurry up and leave. It'll be troublesome if she gets transferred back to City A. I hate her, Xing Jinyan said in disgust. Su Jiran had a bad feeling about Baya not picking up his phone. He went to the door and knocked. It was quiet inside. Jiran, what are you doing? Xing Jinyan asked suspiciously. Baya, come out. I have something to tell you, Su Jiran said with a frown. What do you want to tell her? Xing Jinyan didn't understand. Seeing that Su Jiran was ignoring her, she was a little unhappy. Su Jiran, you've already divorced her. She's someone that your wife doesn't want to see, so I don't think there's anything for you to do with her. Xing Jinyan unhappily said. Su Jiran knocked harder on the door. Baya, come out. Haven't you always wanted to know? I have a clue. Open the door for me, Su Jiran said in a commanding tone. However, there was still no response from the room. Panic flashed across Su Jiran's eyes as he slammed the door. What are you doing, Jiran? Xing Jinyan tried to pull Su Jiran, but he couldn't move him at all. As if he couldn't hear Xing Jinyan, he retreated and rushed toward the door. The lock was broken and the door sprang open. Baya was lying on the bed. White bedding, white skirt, white face, sleeping peacefully. Blood stained half of the bedsheets and skirt. Su Jiran's heart tightened uncomfortably. He didn't think that the strong Baya would choose to commit suicide. She was still fine when he saw her. What made her choose to commit suicide or return to Xing Bachuan's house? He thought about divorcing Baya, but he never thought about Baya dying. Sometimes, when he missed her badly, he would go to Jinyang City to see her. She was still arrogant, still clean, still unapproachable, untainted by the mud, pure but not demonic. If there really was a white moon in the world, she would be the one in his heart. When Su Jiran used his coat to carry Baya, his hands were still trembling. She seemed lifeless, her arms hanging down, and there was no breath at all. He rushed out with Baya in his arms and placed her on the driver's seat. He couldn't hear anything, only sadness. That year he had fallen for Baya at first sight. He knew that she was Xing Bachuan's daughter, and marrying her was just his plan. He had never wanted to fall for her. However, some things wouldn't happen if one didn't want to. When she divorced him and got together with Gu Lingqing, he knew that he was crazy. He wanted her, but he didn't want a divorce. People were always trapped in their own stubborn feelings and couldn't get out. They used extreme methods to cover up their true feelings, and when they gave up struggling, it was already too late. He held Baya's hand. Baya didn't feel anything. She lowered her head obediently and leaned against the chair quietly. He would rather she fling his hand away angrily than stay still like this. Su Jiran's eyes were wet, and tears flowed down. Baya, don't die. As long as you don't die, I can promise you anything. Baya, don't die, don't die. He called the hospital and asked them to wait. As soon as he arrived at the hospital, Baya was sent to the emergency room. Su Jiran sat on the chair dispiritedly. People only liked to reminisce after they had lost something. Baya had never done anything wrong with him when they were together. Baya knew that he had asked someone to kidnap her, but she didn't sue him. She also knew that he had so many women at that time, but she didn't sue him. He still remembered that one night when he had a stomachache after drinking too much and the hotel staff called her. She came over in a white coat and took care of him for the whole night without a word of complaint. The first thing he said when he woke up was, "Why are you wearing a white coat? Are you here to attend a funeral?" Baya didn't say anything to refute him. When she went back, she caught a cold and had a serious fever. She stayed at home for 2 days. Later, he found out that Baya was on night shift that day. Because she skipped work for no reason, her year-end bonus was deducted. She was that kind of person, always giving silently without any complaints or regrets. Even if she was wronged or hurt, she would just bear it. Her life was too bitter. He didn't want her to suffer anymore, as long as she could survive. He would never force her again. He would never hurt her again. He would never embarrass her again. The doctor came out of the emergency room. Su Jiran rushed over and held the doctor's shoulder. "I'm sorry." The doctor lowered his eyes. "We've tried our best." What do you mean by tried your best? Save her now. You must save her. If you can't save her, I'll make you all die with me. Su Jiran pushed the doctor away. I'm sorry. The doctor was afraid that the patient's family would be too emotional and do something extreme, so he lowered his head and left. Su Jiran grabbed the doctor's hand and ordered, "Save her. You still don't know who I am, right? I just need to call the health bureau and your hospital won't need to operate anymore. Save her. The patient has lost too much blood. She was already dead when she was sent here. There's nothing we can do. Even a god can't save her." "My condolences," the doctor said with a pale face. "What condolences? She's only 24 years old. She shouldn't die." Su Jiran dragged the doctor into the operating room and said sternly, "Save her." The doctor stood there, not knowing what to do. Chapter 137. Dr. Fu, there's a heartbeat. The nurse pointed at the machine and said. Su Jiran was emotional. He held Bai Ye's hand and pressed it against his lips. Hot tears flowed down and fell on the back of Bai Ye's hand. "Xiaoya, it's good that you're alive. It's good that you're alive." Su Jiran choked and said. He said this to himself. He looked at Bai Ye's pale face with infatuation. She was beautiful even when she was asleep. She was so beautiful, unique, and unique. Bai Ye was woken up by the burning pain on her wrist. She opened her eyes. Her eyes were as calm as still water. She saw the white ceiling. She smelled disinfectant. She knew very well where she was. She did not feel pain when she died. When she woke up, apart from heartache, there was also the pain on her wrist. The Buddha said, "The mistakes made in the human world will be repaid here. Once they are repaid, they can achieve enlightenment." She had made too many mistakes in her previous life. So, she had not repaid in this life? "Xiaoya, you're awake. Are you hungry? I'll get someone to buy you your favorite osmanthus cake and porridge. Remember to eat century egg porridge." Su Jiran said with a smile. Bai Ye looked at Su Jiran indifferently and was unusually calm. "You shouldn't have sent me to the hospital." Su Jiran's eyes were a little red and filled with panic. He was afraid that she had made up her mind. The hospital could save people who were seriously ill, but they could not save people who wanted to die. "Have you forgotten your child?" Su Jiran asked, choking. "The person I want to forget the most is myself." Bai Ye looked out of the window. It was dark. Nothing could be seen except darkness outside the window. "Maybe your child is suffering now? Don't you want to save him?" Su Jiran asked worriedly. There was no expression on Bai Ye's face. He was afraid that she didn't move at all, so he turned around and walked in front of Bai Ye. He moved a chair and sat in front of her bed. "Xiaoya, I promise you that I will help you find your child. I don't need you to marry me. I just want you to be happy. I'm being sincere. If I force you again, I will die a horrible death." "With your ability, Su Jiran, you still can't find him after such a long time. The child should be dead, right?" Bai Ye said rationally. "No, he's not dead yet. I already have a clue. When you gave birth to the child in K-City, those people came prepared. It wasn't an accidental crime. I suspect that it has something to do with Gu Lingqing," Su Jiran said in a deep voice. "He doesn't know about the child's existence," Bai Ye said. "I found out that he was drugged by a terrorist organization. I escaped and happened to run into you who also escaped. So I forced myself to have sex with you. You fainted and so did he. When he fainted, the person who took him away was very important. The person who took him away knew about his relationship with you. Could it be that the person who took Gu Lingqing away has been watching you?" Su Jiran guessed. Bai Ye looked down. Her long eyelashes covered her eyes. Turned out that Gu Lingqing was drugged. That was why he forced himself to have sex with her. Since that person saved Gu Lingqing, he will treat his son well. The mother's bad luck might be a good thing for the child, Bai Ye said lightly. "Don't you want to see the child grow up?" Su Jiran frowned. Bai Ye raised the corner of her mouth slightly. Her eyes fell on Su Jiran's face. There are many things that I can't do as I want. Gu Lingqing lost his memory. No one will know who the person who took him away is. Even if they know, do you think Gu Lingqing's parents will give the child to me? It's just stabbing another knife in the heart. She said it so calmly as if she was not talking about her own matters. I will help you. I will help you get the child back, Su Jiran said sincerely. I don't deserve a reward. You helped me, but what do you want to take from me? Baya asked rationally. She did not trust Su Jiran at all. I don't need to take anything away. I love you, Baya. I really love you. Su Jiran choked. Go out. I want to rest for a while. Baya closed her eyes. She looked distant. Su Jiran did not dare to leave. He was afraid that if he left, Baya would do something stupid. He made a call and asked someone to buy osmanthus cake and century egg porridge. Baya did not eat. He called Lu Shuang. He hoped that Lu Shuang could persuade Baya. When Lu Shuang heard the news of Baya's suicide, he rushed to the hospital. He saw Baya lying on the hospital bed. Baya's left wrist was wrapped in gauze, and her right hand was dripping with water. Lu Shuang's eyes turned red in an instant, and tears flowed out. Little Bai, why did you do this? What should I do if you die? Lu Shuang walked in crying. Baya opened her eyes and looked at Lu Shuang. Her eyes were much softer. If there was anything in this world that she could miss, it would be Lu Shuang. I'm sorry, Baya said softly. Lu Shuang lay on the bed and cried loudly. Su Jiran left the room, but he did not dare to leave. He leaned against the wall. It was the 12th call from Xing Jinyan. He did not want to answer it, so he hung up. Little Bai, you can't leave me like this, Lu Shuang begged. You're my best friend. Baya stared at Lu Shuang and wiped his tears. Lu Shuang was still crying. He begged, don't do anything stupid in the future. Okay? Baya did not say anything. Lu Shuang held Baya's cold hand. She did not say anything, which meant that she had not agreed. Little Bai, if you die, you'll have nothing. It's a dark world. There are no people, no light, no water, no friends. It's cold. Don't die, Lu Shuang said while crying. Baya looked at Lu Shuang with a deep gaze. You're not afraid of death, so why are you afraid of living? Little Bai, if you die, I'll be pitiful. You know, I'm usually a carefree person, but I'm too straightforward. No one wants to be friends with me. They all say that my EQ is too low and that it's stressful to interact with them. I only have you, Lu Shuang said, feeling more and more hurt. Baya's eyes turned red. She finally promised, okay, I won't die. Lu Shuang hugged Baya. Little Bai, whatever you want to do, I'll be with you. I won't let you feel lonely. It's my fault. I shouldn't have let you go to Jinyang City alone. I'll go wherever you go in the future. I want to go overseas, Baya said. Lu Shuang looked at Baya in surprise. Go overseas? Where? To find a direction in life, Baya said calmly. Lu Shuang was worried. Are you going to seek death overseas? The security overseas isn't good. Baya shook her head. I promised you that I won't seek death, so I won't. I'll do what I say. I'll go with you. Lu Shuang was worried. Chapter 138. It was said that time was the best medicine to forget the pain. How long did it take to forget the pain? How long did it take to forget a person? What path should she take in the future was the right one? How much work did a person have to go through to find the most suitable one for herself? She wanted to go abroad to study psychology. She knew that she was sick. She was suffering from a serious psychological illness. She couldn't rely on others. She wanted to rely on herself to save herself and redeem herself. Going abroad required a huge sum of money, and not everyone could enter the school. Psychology in the United States was much more advanced than in a country. This advanced country was 20 years earlier than a country. Psychological clinics were spread all over the country. They treated psychology as if they were taking medicine for a cold. After she was discharged from the hospital, she called Mu Shaoxing and told him that she wanted to go abroad and study at the best psychology school in the United States. She hoped that Director Mu could arrange it. After she finished her studies, she would enter Mu Xiaoxing's Psychology Research Institute to work. Mu Xiaoxing was very generous and agreed immediately. Beginning of the year, Bai Ye went through the resignation procedures and entered Mu Xiaoxing's Research Institute. She was good at studying, so it was easy for her to pass IELTS. 3rd of March. She went through all the procedures and flew to the United States. Mu Xiaoxing, Lu Shuang, and Su Jiaran saw her off. Did you leave your phone number? My alumni association will receive you when you get there. They will arrange accommodation and school for you. Americans are very open. They like girls in a country very much. Mu Xiaoxing reminded her meaningfully. Bai Ye smiled. Are you afraid that I won't come if I find a husband over there? Don't worry. I have signed the contract. I will work for you for 5 years. I will come back. Xiao Bai, remember to video call me every week. I can rest for a month and I will go to the United States to find you. You have to take good care of yourself. If someone pursues you, don't be stingy with the opportunity. Anyway, dating a few more won't get married. It doesn't matter, Lu Shuang said. You too. Hurry up and find a good man. Bai Ye said to Lu Shuang. She looked at Su Jiaran. Su Jiaran had a lot of things he wanted to say to Bai Ye, but they were all stuck in his throat. He, who had always been graceful and elegant, actually had times when he couldn't speak. He had never fallen in love with a woman, and now he knew what it was like to fall in love with someone. Su Jiaran. Bai Ye spoke first, calling his name. From now on, you don't owe me anything. Lu Shuang turned to look at Su Jiaran. She still didn't like Su Jiaran. Perhaps what Su Jiaran had done before was too disgusting. Su Jiaran watched as Bai Ye walked into the waiting room. In the end, he couldn't say a word. However, he did something that made Lu Shuang gnash his teeth in anger. Su Jiaran had already bought a ticket to America. He took the same flight as Bai Ye, and it was in the first class. He used the ticket in the first class to exchange for the seat next to Bai Ye and sat next to Bai Ye. Bai Ye looked at him in surprise. I have a villa in America. You can stay in my villa when you go there. If you like it, I can transfer the ownership to you, Su Jiaran said softly. Bai Ye was very calm. Su Jiaran, I don't hate you and I don't blame you. But it's impossible for me to fall in love with you again. Then, will you fall in love with Gu Lingqing again? Su Jiaran frowned. I won't. Bai Ye said very rationally. Maybe. I'm not smart enough and I'm not rational enough. But I understand that if I fall in a place once, I'll fall in the same place again next time. Then, I'll move all the rocks and keep you safe, Su Jiaran promised. Bai Ye smiled. Moving the rocks is your business. Not falling is my business. I don't need to see the scenery that I've experienced again. The world is big. I want to see everywhere. Then, can we be friends? Can we be friends? Su Jiaran took a step back. I don't think so. My future husband likes me to be friends with my ex-husband, Bai Ye said coldly. So, when you say that you don't hate me and don't blame me, you want me to completely disappear from your life? Then you should hate me, Su Jiaran said angrily. Bai Ye didn't say anything else. She leaned on the chair, put it down, and looked out of the window. If someone wanted to hurt her, she wouldn't be able to avoid being hurt just by saying no. However, she wasn't even afraid of death, so why would she be afraid of being hurt? The current Bai Ye was already invincible. Su Jiaran couldn't do anything to her at all. Now, he really understood how Bai Ye felt about him back then. She loved him, but he ignored her. Bai Ye was probably as mad as he was. He couldn't even stand it for a minute. How did Bai Ye get through those 3 years? Bai Ye, I'll wait for you. 3 years, 10 years, 30 years. I'll wait for you, Su Jiaran said. These were the last words he said after he sent her to America. Time flew by, and years passed by. It only took Bai Ye more than 3 years to obtain a Ph.D. in psychology. She was the most outstanding student in the eyes of her tutors. She was like a god in the eyes of the students. Her hypnosis skills had reached the peak. During her 3 years in America, she also helped the FBI solve 4 sensational cases. Among them, the space-time dismembered body case shocked the world. Ya's name suddenly became famous in the industry. The FBI sent her an invitation. The school also wanted her to stay, but she chose to return to China because she promised Mu Shaoxing to work for her for 5 years. On the day she returned to China, she didn't inform anyone. She got on the plane and bought a first-class seat. In addition to studying for 3 years, she would also work part-time in a clinic. The school gave her a lot of scholarships. After she became famous, she treated several rich people. She had 2 million yuan in savings. She didn't want to treat herself badly. The first-class seat was separated. In addition to lying down, the space chair also had a massage function. The TV on the top was clear. The private room was shockproof and soundproof. The flight attendants were very considerate. Baya elegantly cut the steak, enjoyed the red wine, and listened to the piano music in the moonlight. She was 28 this year. She had been married, divorced, and experienced 2 relationships. Now she was alone. Suddenly, the flight attendant's emergency call came from the TV. Giant emergency call. We need a doctor who specializes in obstetrics and gynecology. A woman is about to give birth. Baya put down her knife and fork. She hadn't touched a scalpel for 4 years. She was a little worried that she wasn't up to it. She went to see if there was a doctor first. She pushed open the door of the private room. A pregnant woman in the first-class carriage was lying on the ground. She held Gu Lingqing's hand tightly. Her water had broken, and she looked very painful. Xiao Shui, don't be afraid. There will be a doctor. Gu Lingqing comforted her. Chapter 139. When they met again, it felt like a lifetime had passed. The air stewardess continued broadcasting, but no doctor came over. The pregnant woman became more and more nervous. Baya squatted in front of the pregnant woman and asked, "Do you remember when was the last time you had an operation?" Gu Lingqing looked at Baya, and there was a flash of surprise in his deep eyes. "It's you." Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. 4 years ago, I was an obstetrician in a city's hospital. Don't worry, I'll ensure the safety of her and the child in her belly. Baya said that mainly to the pregnant woman. Only by calming her down could the delivery be smoother. As expected, the pregnant woman's emotions were calmed down. I did an ultrasound a week ago. The baby is fine and the position is right. There is no umbilical cord around the neck. The doctor suggested a natural delivery, Xiao Shui said. Is this your first or second delivery? Baya asked calmly. This is my sister's first delivery. Her husband is an American and he's on a business trip, so I brought her back to China, Gu Lingqing explained. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing plainly. She remembered that he didn't have a sister. A cousin? The water broke. According to the person's physique and situation, the pain and delivery time are different. It's normal to give birth within 24 hours. Please put her on the bed, Baya said according to her memory. Gu Lingqing carried the girl and put her on the space chair. The space chair was almost flat. Now, please get 2 air stewardesses in. You don't have to trouble yourself here. If you want to rest, you can go to C1. That's my original seat, Baya said coldly. Gu Lingqing looked at her and turned to leave. Soon, 2 air stewardesses from a country walked in. Do you have any anti-inflammatory drugs, painkillers, or scalpels on the plane? Baya asked the air stewardesses. Yes, I'll get them now, one of the air stewardesses said and went to get what Baya wanted. Get a clean and sterilized blanket and a basin. Also, there should be some chocolate on the plane. Get me some, Baya said to the other air stewardess. Doctor, it hurts. The pregnant woman became emotional again. Baya sat next to her and said softly, It's the first time you've encountered this kind of situation, so it's inevitable that you're nervous. In fact, you were lying in bed like this in the hospital. Your family will look after you. You can feel Xiao Bao's head trying to come out. Your family will go back and call the doctors and nurses, so don't be nervous. Doctor, how long will it be? Will I faint? I've seen on TV that it's very painful to give birth, the pregnant woman said nervously with sweat on her forehead. Giving birth is always painful. You have to face it with the right attitude. In fact, many people give birth at home in foreign countries. They will invite a doctor to their home, only one doctor. They will put in a bathtub of warm water and let the pregnant woman lie in it. The main purpose is to relieve some pain, Baya said softly. She had a smile on her face, which made people feel relaxed. The pregnant woman gradually relaxed. There's an interesting legend. It says that a Xiaobao baby made his mother suffer for a long time, but this Xiaobao baby was born with great strength and could even hold a pair of scissors. Many people say that the more the baby is loved by his mother, the more filial and successful he will be. Baya comforted her. Really? Thank you, doctor. I feel much better. The pregnant woman calmed down. Did you see if it's a boy or a girl? Baya asked to distract her. It's a boy. A sweet smile appeared on the pregnant woman's face. I heard that mixed-race babies are very beautiful. Your baby must be very good-looking. I just don't know if he looks more like an American or a Chinese. Who do you want him to look like? Baya asked with a smile. I want him to look like my brother. My brother is very handsome, the girl said with a smile. It's very possible that he looks like my uncle. After all, they have the same genes. Doctor, you're so nice. You're the most patient doctor I've ever seen, the pregnant woman praised. The air stewardess came over and handed over the emergency box. There were scalpels, anti-inflammatory drugs, painkillers, and hemostatic drugs that Baya wanted in the box. Another air stewardess brought over a basin, a blanket, and a big bag of chocolates. Baya peeled a piece of chocolate and gave it to the pregnant woman. Giving birth is a physical activity, especially a natural birth. You need to replenish your energy. Thank you, doctor. Have you given birth before? Baya smiled. Yes, it was a natural birth. I didn't want to leave a record, so I gave birth in my rented apartment. That's amazing. The pregnant woman admired Baya and fully trusted her. She took a bite of the chocolate. I can't take it anymore, doctor. My stomach hurts. It hurts so much. I think something is coming out. Let me take a look. Baya cut the girl's pants and separated it. Blood flowed out. There was a black thing that looked like hair. You're going to give birth. I'll help you. Ah! The pregnant woman screamed miserably. Even though there was a soundproof room, Gu Lingqing could still hear her. She was anxious. She frowned and waited outside the room. The baby was born smoothly. It was all out in half an hour. Baya cut off the umbilical cord, tied the baby up, and put it aside. The placenta came out. Baya carefully took care of the pregnant woman. The little boy was crying loudly. His hair was black and his skin was red. His facial features couldn't be seen clearly. His eyes were closed and his head was squeezed very long. It was slowly recovering. Lie down and don't move. I'll go and help the baby first. Rest more. I'll come back later, Baya said gently. Thank you, doctor, the pregnant woman said gratefully. Baya nodded indifferently. She held the baby and opened the door. Gu Lingqing was standing at the door and looking at her deeply. Chief, please come and help me. Put warm water in the basin, Baya said in a businesslike manner. Gu Lingqing put warm water in the basin. Baya tested the water temperature and put Xiao Bao's baby in the water. Xiao Bao's baby was originally crying. After putting it in the water, it didn't make a sound, as if it was in a deep sleep. Baya gently washed Xiao Bao's baby. You left the procuratorate later, right? Gu Lingqing asked. I asked about you. Baya picked up the baby and wrapped it up again. She didn't look at Gu Lingqing and said, There's more than one scenery in life. I want to see the whole world. You look good now. 3 years ago, you weren't in a good state. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. Baya smiled and didn't say anything. She turned around with the baby in her arms. Gu Lingqing held her arm. Chapter 140. Gu Lingqing felt abrupt and let go of her hand. She returned to her usual alienation, nobility, coldness, and indifference. There's one thing that I haven't figured out. I hope Ms. Bai can tell me. Gu Lingqing asked seriously. Baiya smiled. I've read a book. It says that a person always has 3 regrets, 3 things to regret, and 3 things to be proud of. Just let it go. There's no need to cling to it. I have to go see your sister. She has just given birth, so I have to pay attention to her. Baiya smiled. Baiya turned around. Gu Lingqing looked at her cold back. Does your leaving the Jinyang Municipal Procuratorate have anything to do with me? Baiya stopped and looked at him. Her eyes were calm, distant, and full of confidence and maturity. I'm only responsible for myself. It has nothing to do with others. Chief Gu, just let it go. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened and sank into an unfathomable abyss. They became as dark as ink. Baiya entered the private room and asked Snowy, who was lying on the bed, "Are you going to feed him yourself or feed him with milk powder?" "I want to feed him myself. I don't know what's added to the milk powder now. The baby is still young and it will affect his development," Snowy said with certainty. Baiya adjusted the space chair and let Snowy sit up slightly. She picked up Snowy's clothes and let Xiao Bao suck. "Yeah, it hurts," Snowy said, but her heart was filled with a strange sweetness. Baiya smiled. Her face was filled with gentleness. "Have you heard about the first mouthful of milk? If Xiao Bao's first mouthful of milk is from a bottle, then he will soon get used to the bottle and the taste of the milk powder." "I've heard about this. Thank you, doctor," Snowy said gratefully. Baiya put the baby on the chair next to her. Xiao Bao's baby was asleep, his red tongue licking his red lips. He was very cute. "Doctor, you should rest for a while. You're tired. Thank you so much. Lie down for a while. Lie down until you feel you can get out of bed and walk around. It's best if you don't lie down for more than 2 hours. There should be emergency sanitary pads on the plane. I'll get the stewardess to send them over later." As Xiao Bao Bao had just left the amniotic fluid, he was not used to it and would cry and throw a tantrum. Don't feed him too much milk. His stomach is still very small. If you feed him too much, he will vomit milk. Vomiting milk can sometimes choke his organs. Eat less and eat more often. Just feed him 4 or 5 times a night. If he vomits milk, stand him up and pat him gently. If it cries, try not to pick it up immediately. It will form the baby's habits. Baiya instructed according to the method in her memory. "Yes, doctor, you are really a good person. If I hadn't met you on the plane, I don't know if the baby would be so lucky. Which obstetrics and gynecology department are you from?" "I will send you a thank you flag," Snowy said gratefully. Baiya just smiled. "Rest well." She opened the door and went out. Gu Lingqing was still standing at the door. Baiya nodded indifferently and went back to her seat to rest. "Brother, this doctor is really a good person. When you get off the plane, you must ask for her contact number. You must thank her on my behalf," Snowy begged. "Yes." After Baiya went back to her private room, she did not come out again. After a nap, the plane would arrive in City A in half an hour. She took the evening flight and arrived in City A at 7:30 in the morning. Baiya took her toiletries and went to the washroom to wash up. She just finished washing up and came out with makeup. Gu Lingqing stood at the door of the washroom. "Sorry," Baiya said. Gu Lingqing did not go in. He said in a deep voice, "I deliberately waited for you at the door. My sister said she wanted to thank you and asked me to get your number." "It's nothing. I think any doctor would help." "Don't worry too much," Baiya said with a smile. The plane suddenly descended. The plane shook a little. Gu Lingqing held Baiya's waist. The warmth of his warm palms passed through her clothes to her skin. Baiya's back was stiff. She did not want to have such contact with him anymore. She walked forward quickly, swaying and swaying. The stewardess was gently greeting the passengers on the plane. The plane was about to arrive in City A and asked everyone not to walk around casually. "Brother, did you get her phone number?" Snowy asked. Gu Lingqing shook his head, his eyes deep. "Help me get it. I like her very much. If there is a baby problem in the future, I can ask her." "Brother, please, you are my dearest brother," Snowy said coquettishly. "I've met her a few times before. I can find someone to inquire about her. Gu Lingqing promised. Please, brother. You are my dearest, dearest brother. Asterisk the plane arrived in City A. Gu Lingqing watched Baya get off the plane with her luggage. She walked very quickly in the front. It rained in City A in early spring. The air in the morning was relatively good. Baya took a deep breath. She smelled the scent of her hometown. She went to the taxi area and queued for the bus. Because of the appearance of an important person, the road was blocked. Hence, the taxi came very slowly. The so-called important person, Baya did not need to think to know that it was Gu Lingqing. She queued patiently. She took out her phone and checked Lu Shuang's number. She smiled and dialed it. Xiao Bai, you called me so early. Lu Shuang was very happy to receive Baya's call. Guess where I am now? Baya asked with a smile. Lu Shuang was startled. Are you at the airport now? Why didn't you tell me? I will pick you up now. It's okay. I am going to see my mother now. So early. Work well, I will treat you to dinner tonight. Where are you staying today? Stay at my place. I am staying at the hotel. Haha, you don't even know how many days you stay in a week. See you tonight, Baya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing glanced at Baya and gave some orders to his men. His men ran to Baya and saluted. The chief said that he can give you a ride. Where are you going? I will send you back. Thank you for your kindness, but it's okay. Baya rejected him elegantly. You don't need this or that. Are you avoiding me and afraid of me? Gu Lingqing walked to Baya with a cold face. Because of his arrival, the atmosphere around them changed. It became oppressive and tense. Baya smiled. If she did not go, it would seem that she was really avoiding and afraid of him. She was not afraid of him, but she really wanted to avoid him. Because of her guilty conscience, it showed that it was not her. Then I will have to trouble the chief. Baya nodded. His soldier took her luggage and put it in the trunk of his car. When she got into his car, she realized that his sister was not there. Where is that lady? Baya asked casually. My men sent her to the hospital. I am going back to the military now, so I will give you a ride. Where are you going? Gu Lingqing asked indifferently, not even looking at her. Hyde Sanatorium. Thank you, Baya said politely. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.